Show. This is the Big O 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 Show. This
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's just one place to celebrate our happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Plus last chance savings on a 2024 RDX. $379 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package.
Hello? No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla. Not 24,000, 20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. How the hell are you all doing out there? You hanging in there? Are you prepared? We need to be prepared for Milton. Those of you that live in Florida, those of you that live on the west coast of Florida, Those of you that live in Central Florida, those of you that live just above, what is it, the Gold Coast, right around there, right? You got to be ready for the back end of it, obviously, because it's still going to be a 1, a 2 or a 1 going through there. Who knows how strong this thing is? It's down to a 4 because it's the eye is reorganizing right now. So, you know, we all learned the lingo, right? So yes, let's see what happens. You know, we're in uncharted territories as it is to everything going on. It's always like new things that are coming up that we've never seen before. I mean, since I was a kid in the 70s or the 80s, nothing like this used to happen. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a common occurrence, and it's scary stuff. And it's pretty scary when something goes from like a tropical storm to a Cat 5 in 24 hours. That will catch your attention, and it should have the attention. And sadly, this is what Texans and Louisiana folks and Mississippi and Florida folks and the Carolinas, this is our lives, because we have to deal with this constantly because it's just part of our world since we are, in the Caribbean. So, yeah, we got to deal with it. And unfortunately, we've got a really bad one, and you feel bad for the people in Central Florida who have just been walloped, just got walloped, and now they're going to get another one. And all that debris that's still out there, that's going to be a problem for them too already in an active hurricane. So let's hope for the best. And if you can, get the hell out, please. I mean, props to the Tampa mayor. What's her name? Jane Castor. What was it? How did she phrase it? There's never been one like this. Adding that Hurricane Helene, which caused damage in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, was a wake-up call. Asked for her message to anyone who believed they could stay put and ride out the storm. Castor said, "This is literally catastrophic, and I can say without dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuated areas, you're going to die. Anyone who was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area has never seen anything like this." I'm glad she's brutally honest. I commend her. I don't know if she's any good or not. I have no idea. To be quite honest, I'd be, saying from pure ignorance, I have no idea if she's a good mayor or not. But I love her brutal honesty because that's what you got to tell people that you're there, And I think we're watching that storm surge. So please, hey, listen, if you got a friend or something that lives out there and they need somewhere to go, tell them to come to your house. If you're, out of the way. If you live in South Florida, tell them to come on down. Tell them to drive down. Because you saw how I-4 and that entire corridor is it's like a parking lot to get out of there. It's scary stuff. So prayers to everybody out there having to deal with Milton. And of course, everyone has to deal pretty much with some kind of weather fiasco, right? No matter where you live, almost. So let's hope for the best. By the way, today, obviously, we're not at the Big Cheese. We'll be at the Big Cheese a week from today. We will not be tomorrow at Toyota of Hollywood. We're going to go to, I think we should be fine for Hialeah Park on Thursday. If we were up more north, I probably would have moved that too. But I think we're good for Thursday for Hialeah Park and Friday for Acura Pembroke Pines. But just in case, if you were going to go by, because sometimes you guys come by and visit, which we appreciate immensely. By the way, we are not going to be at, obviously, the Big Cheese today, So Gary, Billy, we will see you next week, my friends. Thank you, as always, for your amazing support. Manny Navarro will join us today, but he'll join us for the Big Cheese NIL report on Friday. So we'll have that. And hopefully I'll have some Big Cheese later on in the week. Maybe I'll go by and have some fun. There's Billy right there hanging out with Ibis. Anyway, so what do we have? We got some stuff to talk about today, some Dolphin stuff that I want to get into. We've got the Panthers starting their season tonight. They had their ring ceremony yesterday, which was really cool. We'll get into that. Got WNBA playoffs tonight, as the Sun and the Lynx are trying to see who gets to face the Liberty, who eliminated the Aces, which is pretty amazing. And so we've got Heat stuff to talk about. We've got NFL. Last night, the Chiefs got it done again. No matter what goes on, man, the Chiefs got it done. We got a Crypto Bro show for you today. Music stuff, as always. Got some other music notes that just there's one where I hope to be in Orlando. Orlando hopes to be in Orlando on December 12th. I'll tell you why. So got all that. I even have a baseball note. I know it's not really a subject that a lot of people really want to get into, but we'll get in a little bit in a baseball note. So I got all kinds of stuff, going on. Plus we've got, let's see, Ira Winderman at 10:30. He'll join us. Yesterday, we pushed it back to today because of obviously football and everything yesterday. And then Ira also had what's that called again? The red, white, and pink game. And so that was yesterday, and we had some news and all that. So I figured today was better for Ira. So we'll have him on at 10:30. Manny Navarro will join us at 11. Give us the latest with the Canes. So we have the Canes, the Dolphins, and Inter Miami off this week. So no football or football. So no football or football. And then we're going to have David Furones around 11:30, 11:45. He'll join us. So we'll have some fun with David. I think he would have talked with the coach. And so then we will talk to him. So there you go. All right. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, I added a new Bitcoin hat to the collection. I figured, hey, listen, I've been orange pilled forever, right? So whether it's Bernie and Marino, I got orange with my Canes. I got orange with my Dolphins. There's orange in the Heat. And maybe that's why when we had the Miami Soul, the WNBA team that we have, who has a Miami Soul flag in their studio? Come on, bro. Only a true South Floridian, a real South Florida homegrown fan does that. But you see the basketball I replaced in the middle. I mean, this is the way. You see my Mandalorian hanging out in the back? You notice? There's a little Mandalorian there. This is the way. So, I figured, it's all synergy. I've been orange pilled my entire life. And here we are, orange pilled again. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, you can make an orange donation to the show. That's right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Cash App or Venmo. There we go. It's a beautiful thing. Salah fired? Is that true? Wow. Is that true? Did Aaron Rodgers get him fired? I don't know. Some guy's putting that in the trenches. Is that true? Anyway, Tom Pelissero. Yes, the Jets fired Robert Salah. Wow, they made their bed and they're lying in it completely, bro. They've lied in there with Aaron Rodgers and all the dirtiness. And wow, this is a guy that can't keep a woman. This is a guy that doesn't get along with his entire family. Listen, you had a disagreement with your mom or your dad or your grandfather, your grandmother, your brother, your sister. I can see that. I can understand that you don't talk, you don't get along with one person. That's cool. That can happen, man. And everybody's entitled to whatever happened, and that's their right. And okay, but when it's the entire family, you don't get along with. And when I see that, you have all kinds of, it's one woman after another, you know what I'm saying? And it just looks like you're a difficult person to get along with all the time. Like you can't hold any kind of relationship. It's kind of weird. Not that I'm a Salah fan, by the way. I just want you to know this. I'm not a Salah fan, but I'm an even less Aaron Rodgers person fan. Like, I think he's a shit person, an absolute and total piece of shit. Let me just, I'm not sure. Am I being, clear here? Am I expressing myself? I think Aaron Rodgers is absolute and total garbage. That's what I think he is. Yeah, he's been an amazing football player. He'll go to the Hall of Fame. As a person, I think he's absolute dog shit. In fact, I have more use for dog shit because I can use it as fertilizer. So it actually finds a way to come back and help and grow, and we kind of use it in our backyard sometimes, So, it helps. So, you at least I could do something with my dog poop. I don't know what I can do with Aaron Rodgers. So, wow, Salah fired. Okay. All right. It's the Jets, It is what it is. So Robert Salah fired. That is amazing. Now, they are committed to Aaron at least another year, right? So they're screwed. Anyway, so again, Cash App or Venmo, you could use that QR code right there on Venmo or Cash App and make a donation and help the show as always. What else do we have? I got, the Miami Heat organization, and I'm going to say some stuff that's going to rattle some of you out there a little bit, some of you homers. But I'm just going to be honest about it. The Miami Heat organization is just an absolutely elite organization. They have been the best organization in town for over a quarter century now. Okay, that's not up for any kind of discussion. They have done more right than wrong by miles. They have done some great things. And yesterday, they went out and did something that people rarely ever do, bro. And I want to commend Mickey Arison for once again, doing it right. I'll be the first and I'll be the honest one to tell you, that Riley and the company, they have problems getting their whales nowadays. They don't really, they don't fish them like they used to anymore. It's really been about Wade, but overall, who can argue what Riley has done? And are you ready? Are you sitting down? Pat Riley is the greatest sports figure in South Florida history. He passed the chin. That we've never had anybody like him. Why? Because he's produced 3 titles and he produced an offspring that kept it going. Nobody does shit like that. You know what I mean? We had Shula and actually the back end of Shula was very iffy and questionable and wasn't even close to getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Whereas that organization, hell, they just recently went to the finals a couple of times. Didn't have to win it, but you didn't expect them to win it. Hell, the first go around in the bubble, they had, if they stay healthy, they literally had a chance. That was perfect. That was set up. That wasn't a great Lakers team or anything there. That wasn't like a legendary team that they were facing. It was beatable. And Riley has become the greatest sports figure in South Florida history. The longevity, all the winning, all the championships, the fact that he produced 2 coaches, because Stan Van Gundy was a good coach, and then Eric Spoelstra was the best coach in the NBA. So, it's hard to top that you were great yourself, you won a title, and then you also set the entire franchise up, and he did what Shula couldn't do, the custodial part of it, the upkeep of it. He's able to do that. He was able to produce the next coach in line that has, going to be here another 25 years in, his career. Whatever it is now, he's like at 15, right, or something, 12, 15, whatever. He easily is going to, right? He started in 08, right? I believe like right around 08. So you're talking about 16 years now. So he'll easily be here 10 more years. That's strong when you can do something like that. And Riley did that. And then Mickey Arison did what so many failed to do, bro. So many failed to do. Honor people when they're still with you, when they're still alive, when they've accomplished everything that deserves to already, put them in. We're like, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fails all the time. And it's like, why? Why do you do this? Why do you wait so long? People are dead or they're too old to go, or you're, all that kind of stuff. Why do you do that? Well, they screw it up. And yesterday, Mickey Arison did what he was supposed to do. He named the Pat Riley Court yesterday. So it's Pat Riley Court at the Kaseya Center. That's what you're supposed to do. Honor the man that created an amazing, amazing franchise. Mickey deserves all the credit for making the initial, move to bring Riley. But Riley is the ultimate sports figure in the history of South Florida. He had a vision like nobody else. He created a franchise that is second to none, one that is, wanting to be emulated by every team in town, and teams around the NBA want to be the Miami Heat. And that culture stuff, that comes from Pat Riley. You never hear that this comes from Pat Riley. He created winning. He created championships. He created a culture. As a person that has covered that team and has been around, I see their employees who are phenomenal human beings and how much they work so hard at being great, at wanting to be great. And this is what you're supposed to do. So Pat Riley now, while he's here, he gets to enjoy this. And listen, it's not about stroking his ego or any of that bullshit. Pat Riley doesn't need any of us to stroke his ego. You know what I mean? He's the man, dude. He's the man, always has been the man, always will be the man. We all know that, okay? But a lot of times they screw this shit up. And you do this after the guy's left and he's too old, and it's just like, it's bullshit. And what Mickey Arison did yesterday, to me, I just, as a fan, as a guy that appreciates what Riley has meant to this town, he made us a basketball town. He made us give a shit about basketball. We never gave a shit about basketball. We were solely football, dude. That's all we were ever. And I just found it to be absolutely awesome. Obviously Pat Riley deserves it, and he deserves more because of what he's been able to produce for all of us. And a lot of fun, a lot of championships, a lot of winning, a constant winning. You're always winning. I mean, you rarely ever lose with Pat Riley. That's fun. It's fun. It's fun to know that even in your worst years, you're still going to make the playoffs. You're still going to be a decent team. You're not going to be an embarrassment. You're terrified that the Dolphins can be good and then they can be an embarrassment. The Canes, hopefully Mario's kind of getting them out of that abyss, but they were in the same boat. Yeah, maybe they can be good, but oh man, they could definitely be embarrassing. The Heat are never embarrassing. I know they struggle nowadays to get whales and stuff like that. And okay. And they've struggled with their picks and they've made some bad decisions and all, but the totality of everything that they've done and everything that they've accomplished is second to none. Second to none. This is success all the way through. From beginning to end. From the second you got here, you were winning, and you're still winning. There's no they went in a rut for 4 or 5 years where they didn't make much of the playoffs and they had losing record. No, that shit don't happen. It's a bad season, and every blue moon, every 8 years, 10 years, you sneak in a bad season. It's crazy. And yesterday, I thought that was like, Pat deserves this, and Mickey, thank you. Thank you for doing it the right way and not waiting till he's retired, 30 years later and he's on crutches or he can't even make it from his house or something, or he passed away, and then you want to start naming the court after him, and it's like, yo, come on, dude. Oh, well, let's retire his jersey, and he's too old already. It's like, why didn't you just do it already? Like, what are we waiting for? That's freaking awesome. So congratulations to Mickey Harrison for, like, most of the time that franchise and that family has done the right thing. And yesterday honoring Pat Riley, I thought was the right thing. So good shit, man. Good shit. Let's see, what do we got here on the chat board? See, Jamie Zorria. Don't forget, folks, smash the hell out of the like button. Let's go. Only 54 likes, 145 that are watching right now. Come on. Let's see, Peter German. Thank you, sir, for the love, as always, on Venmo. Hey, Big O, why does Ross never learn from his mistakes? He needs to grow a pair and let this inept coaching staff go. Even the Jets fired Salah today midseason. If you keep waiting and we lose Vrabel, they're not going to fire anybody. I just don't see it, because everybody's got contracts. They just dished them out. I think they're going to give them a chance to get out of this rut. They had made the playoffs the last 2 years. So I just, as much as you would want to make a change and as much as you guys want to fire Chris Greer, fire Mike McDaniel, trade away or cut Tua and all that, I just don't think any of that is going to happen, my brother. I really don't. I don't think there'll be any kind of changes until next year. I've seen this story before, so I will tell you that you're going to be disappointed because I just don't think the changes are coming. Is it Percy Sledge? Is a change? Is it coming? Right? Let's see what else. Jamie Zorria out in San Jose. NorCal is puffin'. Steve Chapman enjoying the bye week. Brooklyn Rob probably enjoying his suey. What does he say there? Opening night for the Cats. Waited 30 years to see the Stanley Cup banner raised. Go Cats. Let's rinse and repeat. It'll be fun, Brooklyn Rob, because the challenge, everybody's going to go after you. You're the top dog. You're one of the favorites again to win the cup, and everybody's going to want to knock the king off the mountain. So it's going to be an interesting challenge to see how the players handle all of this. Yeah. Yeah. Skylar Tipton, One-Eyed Jack. That's right. Smash that like button. Ray Sosa. Jay Gelfin is in the house in Pompano Beach to Hollywood to Doral. All I have to say is be safe out there on the road. Winds and slick roads are dangerous. Yes, sir. You are correct. Chapman says, I just heard McDaniel's press conference on the queue. I came in midway through and counted 11 ums and ahs. Looking forward to next week's contest. So, next week's contest, you got to get it in by Sunday. If your email is not in by Sunday, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Email Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. So you have to have your email in by this Sunday. Okay? And you have to have your one guess. Put in your full name, address, email, cell number, so we can contact you. All right? And tell you that you won, obviously. You got to guess from start. You got to put the guess ahead of time on Sunday. How many ums and ahs will Mike McDaniel have between Monday's presser all the way through game day on Sunday in Indianapolis when he's done? Okay? So you have to send me an email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com by this Sunday. Okay? It must be in this Sunday night, whatever it is, but midnight Sunday, in other words. Okay? So that way we got a cutoff time. Send in your email and the total ums and ahs that Mike McDaniel will have in Monday's press conference through Sunday's game against Indianapolis. Sean Stanley will have the honor of totaling all the ums and ahs in every press conference throughout the week. If you guess, or, if you hit it right on the spot or the person closest to it, you will get 9 different Big O Show shirts and a hat. Okay? All right? If there's a tie, you guys split the prize. I doubt there'll be a tie, but whatever. And you only get one guess. If I see duplicates, okay, with the same name and email address and all that kind of shit, we're going to eliminate you. Okay? We're going to eliminate you. So don't bother sending multiple ones because then you just will have none. Okay? Don't cheat, bro. Just send in one. Make your guess. How many ums and ahs total will Mike McDaniel have in next week's press conferences starting Monday through Sunday? Okay? Let's have a little fun with this. I mean, what the hell? What the hell? What the hey? What the ho? By the way, EJD Construction. We love talking about EJD Construction. They know how to get it done. Eric's been a longtime sponsor of our program. Even before we started this platform, he's been with us, but he's been with us from day one of this platform, and we appreciate it. And they service Dade and Broward County, 305-433-4843. Custom home construction and major home remodeling, and they're fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So give them a ring, folks. And they use Shell Construction in-house to save and bring the cost down for you. They're a AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please call Eric. This is his personal cell number, 305-433-4843. And unfortunately, if you suffer any kind of damage over the next couple of days because of the storm, please call Eric, 305-433-4843. Let's get to the great Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, Ira, how are you doing, sir?
Good. We're fully into it. Scrimmage last night, first exhibition tonight against the Hornets, and get a little sense of who the Heat are, what they are as we await cutdown day and the October 23rd start of the regular season.
Yep. Now, this franchise has done so many great things. And before you came on, I was talking about it. And one of the things that they just absolutely nailed, right out of the park was honoring Pat Riley and naming the court. And there are so many times where we honor people, induct them into rings of honor, Hall of Fames, whatever, and they're too old, they're dead, they're, and it pisses me off when we do shit like that because we're honoring people that should have been honored already, and do it in the moment when they can appreciate it and you can appreciate them at that time, not when they're, in hospice or some shit. Oh my God, he's in hospice and we never honored him. Let's honor him now. No, asshole, you should have done it when he was. And so yesterday, I love what they did because he is the greatest sports figure in South Florida history, dude. He passed Shula. I hate to, disappoint people, but we got to be objective because he's been the greatest custodian ever. Not only was he a great coach and won a championship, but then left an offspring that has carried it and the culture, and there's never ever a valley. It's like it's a quick Bitcoin dip and then we're back up again. It's what we're doing here with the Heat. It's not like you're down and you're out for years and then they've got to reset. No, dude, a bad time for the Heat is one off season or something. That's all it is. We have to honor this guy. And I thought it was just an absolutely beautiful thing that Mickey Harrison did and did it the right way.
And again, 30 years. I mean, everyone talks about Shula's legacy as being this iconic always here. We're talking 3 decades of Pat Riley. Who would have thought Big O, when he stepped aboard in September 1995, that he would surpass his Lakers Showtime legacy? Everyone thought, okay, he's stopping up here. He'll collect a paycheck. He'll be back out in Malibu. That'll be that. It'll always be Showtime Pat, Showtime Lakers. And instead, he has tripled his tenure there, at least his coaching tenure there with what he's done with the Heat. He's become a legacy face. And yeah, these are the nice little touches. Statue for Dwayne, deserved. Court name for Pat Riley, deserved. Banner for Udonis Haslem, retired number, deserved. They've done the right things. You don't look up except for Michael Jordan and Dan Marino, you don't look up in the rafters and say this team went overboard in anything. If anything, this team has limited the honors to those who specifically earn. We talked about, I've debated here in the Acura Pembroke Pines report, whether Goran Dragic should have his number retired, but they're keeping a very tight list of those who most deserve to be honored. Here's the interesting part, Big O. Because there's no one above him to honor him, I think there should be something for Mickey Harrison also, and his stewardship of the franchise. He arrived before Pat Riley. If there was no Mickey Harrison, there would be no Pat Riley. If there was no Pat Riley, there would be no Eric Spoelstra. There would be no culture. So I know Mickey can't honor himself, but I think there should be something there also for the work that he's done in more than 3 decades, going back to his father's ownership.
I already have it. I've been saying what the Heat should do already. I already told you they should build a separate building in the back that's a Hall of Fame. The Heat have the history now, all the way from expansion till now. They have the memorabilia. They have the memories. They can create their own Hall of Fame nowadays, and it can have its own restaurant on the top, and it could be the Mickey Harrison Miami Heat Hall of Fame.
And even if it's not another structure which is expensive, maybe the Mickey Harrison Hall of Honor, and you just have plaques for everyone going around half the concourse or something like that as they continue to redo and revive the arena. That would be a nice touch, especially because unless you take the arena tour, now there's a charge for that, you don't get to see Championship Alley and some other places. So maybe a Hall of Honor on the tight concourses they have. But if they could do that and just have maybe statuettes or figurines of the players, others also, the Cyclies, the Rices, the Steve Smiths, the other contributors, the Ron Rothsteins over the years, Eric Reed, Jose Pineda. I think that would be a nice touch also. So let's start lobbying for the Mickey Arison Hall of Honor. I'm all on board with that.
I'm thinking big. I'm thinking glass building on the outside, multiple floors, restaurant, terrace restaurant at the top. I'm thinking statues. I'm thinking small theaters inside to show you some of the great memories from Rory Sparrow making the first one to watching Alonzo Mourning crying with the trophy, and then watching UD do his thing. I think you go all out. I think you tell Michael McCullough you add some NFTs, so that way when you have great moments, everybody knows go to the Arison Hall of Honor so you could get your NFT for that great moment, whatever it is, induction of somebody into the Hall of Fame, raising the banner, a champion season. There's so many things.
And that's all well and good, except I'm going to interrupt you here for one thing, but no tax dollars involved. We have to draw the line somewhere.
No tax dollars, but you don't need tax dollars because it's actually you're building a revenue stream besides it being an honor that now you can have something open 7 days a week where Heat fans and remember the Heat Nation is different now. Okay. The Heat Nation travels all over. The Heat Nation is all over the world. The Heat Nation comes to Miami now to watch the Heat. It's not just Heat fans that live here. So now Heat fans that come from other places can come and even on an off day can go to the Mickey Hall of Honor and go check out all the stuff that's going to be in there. That should be absolutely amazing. It's all a glass house. It's overlooking, the bay. It's overlooking his ships. He's got the restaurant up there 7 days a week, serving some great food. It could be a sports bar too. So on game days when there's overflow, people can go to the Hall of Honor and watch the game at the rooftop bar. I got this shit set up, bro. Michael, give me a ring, bro. Give me a ring.
Knowing downtown Miami and knowing Biscayne Boulevard, it'll be on top of a condo building because they ain't wasting no real estate down there. But sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but they can put it on the back end of the arena. They can extend and put some more concrete and just elevate it. So that way, obviously, climate change doesn't affect it. So just make sure you raise it up. A couple of.
You know what? But they did right by Riley and Big O. Yes. When you get a chance down to the arena, the scoreboard is magnificent, and what they've done with it. They really got up to pace with the rest of the NBA. The new lighting is nice. The fact that they darkened the seats around the court, so if the people want to spend half the game in the lounges, it doesn't have that same look it had before. They addressed their product and upgraded their product. That's all you want to see is an evolution of a franchise who's making money now with the new television national deal. Hand over fist, but they're putting something back in the arena. That's all you can ask.
No, yeah, it looks, and the new scoreboard looks absolutely amazing. And listen, they've always made the Heat experience a fun experience when you go to that arena, whether it's the giveaways, the entertainment, the scoreboard, all that stuff. Ed Filomena and company just are absolutely amazing. All the stuff that they do in the videos and everything. So yeah, it's always been first class. So I'm not surprised actually. I'm really not surprised, but it was impressive to see that scoreboard. Yeah. By the way, what was impressive was 11 threes by Bam, and
11 attempts, not 5 makes, but 11 attempts. Yes.
He took 11 threes. I'm amazed at that. I'm not amazed that he made 5 because I'm not amazed at his skill set. I've never doubted his skill set. The guy has the skill set. The question is, will he be that aggressive? Now, that's obviously a practice game.
Right.
It's not really a serious game. And I'm sure some of those threes he wouldn't take in a real game, but overall, I don't know. Should I look forward to this?
It's part of the plan. They want him to
the game, but should I look forward to a more aggressive 3-point Bam?
Yes and no. Yes, if that's what's required. I don't know if I want Bam spending all of his offensive time away from the glass on a team that's not a great rebounding team that doesn't pursue offensive rebounds. So it's a balance. But yes, if Bam's a 3-point threat and Tyler's a 3-point threat and Rozier's a 3-point threat in the starting lineup, then you might be able to get away with, say, starting a Jaime Jaquez at power forward and getting more overall talent on that starting lineup, maybe instead of Jovic. So you want to see how it meshes, how it works. Bam has the stroke. Whether he actually helps space the floor is going to be important. And here's why you can't put too much into that scrimmage and Bam shot total and three-point total. Jimmy Butler did not take a single shot. Jimmy played with a hooded sweatshirt, sort of walked through the motions. Don't overstate that. I'm looking more forward to these exhibition games. Spoelstra wants to get to his core four players and see what else works, which sort of brings us to part two of last night's discussion. And I am shocked that Orlando Alzagari, on our Accurate Pembroke Pines report, did not start here with Tyler Hero's injury being absent, and the old, here we go again.
Well, because consistency is a beautiful thing. The Heat have been consistently a great franchise. Well, Tyler Hero has consistently been injured, unavailable, unreliable. And so what's the difference? A friend of mine goes, hey, man, the Heat are always having these soft tissue injuries, and he put out a couple players that are out, but he put Tyler. I go, does Tyler really count? He's always injured. So, yeah, I get it. But this is what, to me, what stood out yesterday was the Riley Court thing. It was Bam shooting a lot of threes, and he made 5. It was the whole 4-5 thing now, that you've got 4 of the 5 spots, and now we've got to decide between Jovic, Jaquez, and Highsmith.
Hayward is definitely in the mix if you decide you need another defender in the primary lineup there. So he's another option. One other thing that stood out also, just want to throw in.
Wait a minute. You're talking situationally, so we're not talking permanently on that 5th spot.
No, and again, it's not who starts, it's who finishes. Yeah.
It's going to be a rotational 5th spot is what you think it is?
No. I think Spoelstra will come with the lineup and go with it, but I think whoever starts will not necessarily finish, and we all know that finishing means so much more. So if you need spacing and playmaking, Jovic. If you need defense, Highsmith. If you need someone, maybe on a night Jimmy is out or doesn't have it going, Jaquez. They have optionality there. Maybe not the perfect answer, but they can roll through different things. Eric Spoelstra would like nothing more than consistency with his lineup, consistency with his injuries, consistency with his rotation. He'd like that. Now, will injuries allow that? I don't know, but that's important. I think another note worth making from last night's game is the way that Pelle Larsson played in the scrimmage. All the contributing things he could do, almost as if you have this Jaime Jaquez 2.0. And like Eric Spoelstra said in his post-game comments, post-scrimmage comments, look, we're not talking about a big-time star player, but you need complementary talent also. You need the other guys to do things, to step in there when other guys are injured and can't play. That was a really nice first step for Pelle Larsson. And I think we have to be honest that Pelle Larsson at 23 is ahead of the curve, ahead of Kel'el Ware at 20. College experience matters. Experience matters. Right now, Pelle Larsson is a more polished player than Kel'el Ware. I think you might wind up seeing early in the season possibly more Pelle Larsson than you do Kel'el Ware, and that's fine. Develop your players. Let him grow at his pace. He has a nice future, but don't overdo it. I'm not sure Kel'el Ware, I'm sure he's not starting. You and I were mentioning possible starting 4s. I don't see Kel'el Ware in that mix and Bam at the 4. I'm not sure he's even going to be a rotation player. So be patient with Kel'el Ware. Don't forget he's 20, just like when the Heat drafted Nikola Jovic at 18. It takes time. But the Heat development program has proven successful. Give it time.
Yeah. And with Larsson, I've told you, I love his attitude. He reminds me of some of the other European players that I've seen in the past that not there, athletically or accomplished. But what I'm saying is he plays with some confidence that I really like about him. But going back to the 5th, who the 5th starter is, I almost feel like Jovic is the guy. And this is the reason why I say it. It's not necessarily because Jovic is better than Jaquez, but I love the energy of Jaquez off the bench with Highsmith, because then you've got 2 guys that bring energy. Highsmith obviously brings some defense too in the process. And I think that really kind of helps with the second unit and then at the same time with Jovic on the court, you got a bigger guy. So sometimes if Bam wants to pop out and shoot, you've got a bigger guy that can help you out with rebounding a little bit, and he can help start the break too at the same time because he has that skill set too. And so for me, I kind of like that combination of starting Jovic and bringing Jaquez and Highsmith off the bench. And as in the Khalil Ware thing, you're right in general. But if he does develop as the season goes on,
sure.
Besides having Jovic and having Bam outside, maybe as the season goes on, Ware can be inside and Bam can be sometimes outside. So at least you have the size of Jovic, the size of Khalil Ware to help you in the rebounding areas that you're kind of weak at. Again, too early for the Ware part, not the Jovic one, but so what do you think first about Jovic being the starter with Jaquez and Highsmith providing that energy? With
Eric Spoelstra said yesterday, Nikola Jovic has shown nothing to warrant removing him from that starting role. Hey, there's 5 exhibitions starting tonight. We'll see. But right now, I think he's clearly the front runner. His height makes a difference. His length makes a difference. I think Jaquez is exactly what you need. Number 1 on the second unit. But number 2, he's so replicative and duplicative of Jimmy Butler. I don't think it makes sense to play Butler and Jaquez together. They play they want similar spots. They play a similar mid-range game. So separate them now. Maybe when Jimmy misses time, which he might, then I could see you play Jaquez as your starter. Highsmith's another guy. Hey, someone gets the hot hand. He can guard 1 through 4. You inject him in that second unit, you say, okay, quiet this guy, quiet Paul George, quiet, Jalen Brunson, guard anyone. You do that, and you have a nice second unit change of pace with Duncan Robinson shooting coming in, with Kevin Love's rebounding. So you're building units. You're seeing what you can construct with that first unit, with the second unit. Eric Spoelstra has a lot of pieces at his disposal. The one thing we have to make sure of, that he has those pieces at his disposal on a regular basis, because injuries screw everything up. Because you can't develop chemistry in the starting lineup with Jovic if Hero is out. You can't develop a second unit if Jaquez is out. You can't see if you want a veteran point guard if Josh Richardson is out like he is now. You have to be able to see all the pieces in play. It's an interesting mix. It's a fascinating mix. But availability is the number one ability that the Miami Heat in 24-25 have to strive for.
I hope that the Heat steals a page from Inter Miami. And what I mean by that is Inter Miami knew they were going to have the international break. And they knew they were going to lose Messi and Suarez and even Gomez for over a month. And at the beginning, and last year they learned when they first got Messi, they were so behind, they had to try to kill themselves to try to make the playoffs, that it was impossible for them to do it with Leagues Cup and US Open Cup all in the middle and all that. It created a mess. But this year, they were smart. They started fast because they said, hey, let's save our acorns for winter. And when winter rolls around and the boys are gone, we might lose a bunch of games. And it didn't happen. They went 8-1 without Messi, which was, a real revelation there for the team. And it was fantastic. I'd like for the Heat to do the same thing. I'd like for them to collect the acorns early, because you're going to have injuries. Jimmy's not, going to miss games. If he plays them, I want them to take him serious and win those games. Mm-hmm. Collect the acorns. Be prepared, because you're going to have the peaks and the valleys. There's too many valleys in a Heat season lately. They've got to avoid those valleys, man.
And you bring up a really good point there, and a lot of my readers at the Sun Sentinel brought this up also. It's not just the 22 games that Jimmy Butler missed last year. It's the games he showed up and wasn't the full Jimmy Butler package. And you know what, this year, Big O? You have a Jaime Jaquez who can step in. Maybe a Pelle Larsson who could help. You signed Alec Burks. Either Jimmy shows up all in and fully committed, or else this team loses its way. So it's not just the 22 missed games. If Jimmy Butler is there, he has to be fully there. He has to be at full speed. He has to go all out to show what this team can be. There can't be 22 missed games and another 15 of meandering. That's what gets you into that problems. When Messi plays now, he goes in, he scores a goal, he has his assist, he makes himself noticeable. Now, he doesn't get back on defense, but no one ever expected him to. There's a reason there's a center line there for him. With Jimmy Butler, he's a two-way player who's not a dynamic offensive player, but a two-way player. So yes, I agree. I do not want to be writing stories this year or coming on the Accurate Pembroke Pines report and talking about how Jimmy Butler wasn't all there last night. Either you're in or you're out. No more middle ground. I agree with that.
Yeah, let's hope so. By the way, Keshad Johnson had a nice game yesterday.
Yeah, again, the kids, the developmental pipeline, it's going to be hard for Eric Spoelstra to decide which way to go with the veterans of Richardson, to go with the veterans of Alec Burks, or to go with the Pella Larsons and the Keshad Johnson. I got to tell you, I know it's been a subject of somewhat derision. Drew Smith looked very good also last night, and the Heat right now do not have a veteran true backup point guard. So as much as Isaiah Stevens has looked good, as much as Zion Pullen could become a factor, there will be interesting decisions for the Heat team to make when they come down to their final roster 2 days before their season opener.
Yeah, hopefully Drew Smith will have better luck too, because he's also had the injury bug, because that's kind of hurt that kid too. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
I have a story follow-up to the court being named for Pat Riley and how Eric Spoelstra said it was the ultimate badass moment. And what I like what he said is he stepped away from the marketing and he said, you know what? We've had the word culture on the court, but this name is the culture. And I thought that was a great comment from him. Today, the NBA general manager survey came out. I'm just going to write about that now. Spoelstra across the board basically swept the coaching honors as best coach in the league, best adjustments, best defensive coach. It just reminds you have something special in place right now. Also followed up on the injuries, like saying, hey, this can't start. And we'll have full coverage of the game against the Hornets tonight. It'll be interesting to see the combinations Eric Spoelstra goes with. Another exhibition, weather permitting, on Thursday at home against the Hawks. So it's a busy week for the Heat. And I think even though it's preseason, a meaningful week for the Heat.
By the way, the Hornets still have Michael as a consultant, correct?
That's one of those you sell off most of the team you're around a little, but he has no influence. Michael Jordan is much more involved in his NASCAR racing team with Bubba Wallace right now than he is really in the NBA.
All right, well, that's a good thing.
For Charlotte, it probably is.
That's a good thing, because the greatest player to ever play the game is also the worst general manager to ever manage a team. So,
yeah, sort of like Coach Magic Johnson. Yes, you can do one. Sometimes the other is difficult. I agree.
That's why the greatness of Riley needs to be, embraced to another level, because that guy excels in everything he's ever done. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Center. Better yet, subscribe. There you go. Ira, we'll catch up next week. Thank you, sir.
Catch you next week in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
You got it. There we go. Accurate Pembroke Pines right now, the 2025 Integra. You can get it for $339 a month, and you can get 3.9% financing. See, they've lowered their rates faster than the feds. The ZDX get electrified, $479 for all lease approvals. By the way, if you are a current customer of Acura and you are a Conquest or Loyalty customer, you can get the ZDX for $339 a month. 0.9% financing for 72 months is also available. RDX 2024, we still have them. You can get them for $379 a month and 3.9% financing. The lot is loaded also with certified pre-owned vehicles. But again, you have such a large selection of brand new vehicles. So you can pick the car you want, the color you want, the style you want, the model you want, but more importantly, the price you want at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Remember, no, we're obviously not at the Big Cheese today. We'll be at the Big Cheese next Tuesday at noon. We will do the broadcast. We will be at Toyota of Hollywood. Not tomorrow. We're supposed to be there the second Wednesday of every month. Well, tomorrow's the second Wednesday. And yeah, there's some asshole named Milton that's getting in the way. So we've pushed that to next Wednesday also. So both of those. And remember, you want to get into our contest in order to win 9 Big O Show shirts, different shirts, and a Big O Show hat You got to give us the total of ums and ahs from Mike McDaniel in all his press conferences starting next Monday through post-game Sunday Colts. Okay? You have to have that email in by this Sunday midnight. Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. And you got to, and only one entry. Don't send in multiple entries. If I or Sean see multiple names, we will eliminate it all. You will not even get one guess. I'm telling you ahead of time. Don't be a smart ass. Don't start sending in all kinds of guesses, and then you have all kinds of names, and, so, I mean, you have the same name. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to put you and then you want to put your wife, then you go ahead and do that. But if I start seeing the same names and all that and rigging with the addresses and all that, where, you can play with fire. You know how it is on this show. You usually get burned on the text line, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So just one guess. That's all. Just one guess. But it's got to be in by Sunday, midnight. Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. And the winner will get 9 different Big O Show shirts and 1 Big O Show hat. Okay? If we happen to have a tie, you'll split the grand prize. Okay? So, there you go. All right. What do we have here on the chat board? My thoughts are with the people of Florida, hoping you all stay safe and make it through this horrible storm. Thank you, TUE Time. I appreciate you. Let's hope everybody stays safe. And please smash the hell out of the like button. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Kenny says Cam Ward's number 1 passing yards, number 1 passing TDs in the nation, and Miami has the number 1 offense in the nation. Cam Ward is the best QB in the nation. I don't know about the best QB in the nation, but he is definitely top 5. Definitely top 5. The occasional forcing of the bad decisions is, he's getting lucky because he hasn't played elite talent yet. But as it gets better, he needs to play smarter, much smarter in certain moments, because he has a tendency of making a couple crazy throws. He can get away with it, but you got to be careful. So, Lenny Pena says, good morning, Big O, Sean, Heat Fins Nation. I think our Heat are going to surprise some folks this year. Let's go, Heat. Let's go. Ragin is in the house. Horn Dog. The dreaded Heathen. Laughing at the Jets' dysfunction. As a Dolphin fan, it's like being on a short bus and laughing at all the kids on the spectrum. It's just wrong. Just wrong. Jeff in Long Island is enjoying himself. Let's see. Big O, do you believe the Guardian cap Tua can play for Tua can play with or without a Guardian cap? The question is, will he be smart or stupid? That's it, bro. It has nothing to do with a Guardian cap. Should he wear it? Yeah, for the hell of it. He played all last year with no problems. You know why? He got rid of the football, and he didn't go to take on tacklers. So when he decides to stop being a dumbass, he can hang on forever. It's up to him. Now, if you want to be stupid and you think you can play like Josh Allen and you can outrun people, run through them, and hold the ball for 4 or 5 seconds, you go ahead, bro. You'll be ground beef. Ground beef. Right? Where's Giannis at? Ground beef. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what you want to do. Tua's in this position because he's stupid. That's all. He gets on the field, and all of a sudden, he thinks he's a football player. That's all. Pretty simple. It's simple math. When he got all those concussions, everybody said he retired. I said, no. All his injuries come from holding the ball 3.85 to 5.1 seconds. You hold the ball in football for 4 to 5 seconds, that is suicide. The hip injury, the 2 concussions, and the 2 ankle injuries that have titanium rods, all between 3.85 and 5.1 seconds. It has nothing to do with Guardian Cap. It has nothing to do with anything else but take the snap, drop back, and throw the ball. That's it. That's what Marino did. That's what Brady did. That's what Breeze did. That's what these passers do, because they're not athletes. They're not football players. Marino's not putting his shoulder into people. It's not. It's not going to happen. Drew Brees is not putting his shoulder into people. The guy came back from a concussion last year, 2 years ago, and he put a shoulder into a guy and then went to the sideline and told McDaniel, I needed that. No, you don't, asshole. It's pretty simple, dude. He's a fantastic young man. We all know it. He's obviously a smart young man, but when he gets on the field, blind rage, like I told you, like that guy that gets mad, and when they get mad, they get blinded and they're going to lose it. And you can't control that person. That's Tua on the field. He has some blind rage that all of a sudden he thinks he's a football player when he's just a passer. And I watched Marino bitch and complain whenever he got hit and rip his linemen and rip people and all that shit. He never wanted to take hits and he threw the ball away. And guess what? I was fine with that. And I'm fine with Tua playing the same damn way. It's not about the stupid thing on the helmet so he can look like the great Gazoo. That's not what it's about, dude. It's about him using his head for once as a brain, not as a hammer. Hour number 2, and Manny Navarro is next.
There's just one place to celebrate our happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Plus last chance savings on a 2024 RDX. $379 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Cane's Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Cane's Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Right. You think anybody got the great Gazoo mention that I had right there in that whole thing?
No, very few people did.
Yeah, probably. Very few. Very few. You got to be a hardcore Flintstones fan to know who the great Gazoo is. Anyway, so hell of a win, brother. And obviously we talked about it late night, and a lot of people actually hung in there for that one, which I was impressed. Where we at injury-wise overall from this whole thing?
Well, I mean, look, it's perfect time for a bye week, right?
Yes.
I mean, they get this week off now, and they can rest guys that are probably playing with stuff. as it is. You're going to get Jalen Rivers back, I think, for the Louisville game in 2 weeks, and so I think they're going to be in good shape. I don't think anybody was seriously hurt in this game. Beyond bumps and bruises, there's nobody who really left and left this game with major injuries. So I think they're going to be in good shape, and you get your starting left tackle back, which I think will make a huge difference, because we've seen that Markel Bell, as good as he might be in the future, is playing prematurely a little bit.
Yeah, you could tell that the kid's not ready yet at this point in time, and again, this is kind of what I was telling people, where you're winning some of these games, and it's not easy, and you're taking it to the wire. Mario still doesn't have his team yet. This is year 3 only, and like I said, and I've said this over and over again, when Mario or any coach has their team is when they've been able to go through an entire cycle of players, where when they got there, they have a group that's been there now 4 or 5 years, and they're graduating. And then in that 4th and 5th year, they're teaching the freshmen and the sophomores how to do what the program requires. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't gotten to that cycle yet. So until you really get to that cycle, you probably won't really have all your players that you really want, or the depth with some experience that you want, because every year you'll have your blowouts and you'll play your young guys, and then they'll get better and be prepared for those moments. And so right now he's still not there. And that's why this roster is still, kind of incomplete or inexperienced.
Yeah, if you go through Miami's defensive starters and you say which guys are high school recruits, which guys are transfers that Mario's had to get out of the transfer portal, just looking at snaps, okay, these are the top 10 guys in snaps. Mish Powell, transfer. Kiko Mauinoa, transfer. Daryl Porter Jr., transfer. Tyler Barron, transfer. Jadis Richard, transfer. Akeem Mesidor, transfer. Deani Hill, transferred. What is that, 8, right? So you basically have Jaden Harris and Wesley Basainth are the 2 high school. And OJ Frederic. Those are the 3 high school recruits in terms of snap count on defense. So it still shows you that little example right there shows you how you haven't gotten to the point yet where your recruiting really is what you built your foundation on. And I don't know that any team will ever get to the point anymore where it's solely high school recruiting that you build on. But in terms of where they are in their progress, right, where they are in the rebuild, they're still counting on far too many transfers to win games.
Yeah, well, but that's kind of how it goes early on, because you can't be carried by a bunch of freshmen that you recruit. It's just going to happen. You know what I mean? So those freshmen and sophomores have to get the experience while you have those transfers carry some of the load for you and get you through. You know what I'm saying? Now, Cam Ward, absolutely fantastic. It's been fun to watch. My only advice for Cam Ward would be, you're not really helping your draft stock nearly as much the last couple of weeks. You've got to start avoiding those bad decisions and those throws across your body. You can get away with it at times at this level. At the next level, every scout is cringing every time you do that. So I know he came here to kind of, build up his draft stock even more. And obviously the comeback and the coolness and the playmaking, it's all there. But he's got to stay away from those bad decisions. That will scare some NFL people, man.
100%. Oh, and look, the reason guys like Patrick Mahomes get away with that, where they can make a mistake every once in a while, is because they win Super Bowls, right? And they win you a bunch of games. Cam Ward has that quality to him. He certainly was a big reason why Miami came back to win that game against Cal. But if you look at the last 2 games, his play is also the reason why Miami was in nail biters, because he was turning the ball over. He was making poor throws, poor decisions. And you're 100% right. You got to get rid of the ball faster at the next level. You cannot, not every play is you're going to be able to stand back there and just survey and wait for somebody to get open. I think part of, Cam's struggles.
Sandlot football. It's not Sandlot football at the next level, dude. You just can't play like that.
But I think part of the issue too is, again, you and I talk about talent and where Miami is, and the receiver position always comes up, right? It's like Xavier Restrepo, great college slot receiver. But the guys on the outside, are they getting open enough? Are they creating the separation where he can get rid of the ball consistently? I think the answer is no, because if guys were open, I'm pretty sure he would fire that ball quickly. When they initially open those routes, and he's not, because he's surveying, he's seeing the zone coverage, he's seeing the man coverage, and he's saying, I can't throw this ball. So think about how many interceptions he hasn't thrown versus the ones he maybe necessarily has, and what does that say? That has to do with those receivers maybe not being as elite as you'd want them to be. And again, this goes back to Mario and his recruiting. When do you get to that point where this really looks like Alabama or Ohio State or one of those championship level teams?
Yeah, it's and again, I know people, they don't want to hear this, but it takes some time, and it's probably year 4 or 5 when we're going to get to that point. But in the process, you want to see progress. And guess what you've seen this year? You've seen progress, because the last 2 weeks are games that you easily would have lost, bro. Easily would have lost the last 10, 12 years. Okay. So that's progress for me. Is everything perfect? Of course not. But shit, dude, you're 6-0, bro. You're number 6 in the country. You're 2-0 and you're in the ACC. You just won a hell of a game on the road in a tough environment. I know Florida is not the greatest team, but that was a tough environment. So for now, you're watching what you need from Mario, because you watch on Sundays and there is no progress from that coach. You watch on Saturdays, Mario's making progress. And to me, that's where I can wait for years 4 and 5, because now I'm watching that progress from year 3. The first 2 years, it was kind of watch, you know what I'm saying? But now you kind of sit back and say, okay, it isn't a bunch of crap that's coming from the sidelines or anything like that. It's just kids being kids, and they're young, and you can't count on them to be perfect out there all the time.
No, and that's why people were getting on Lance Guidry and saying, what's wrong with this guy? Well, go back and Miami's defensive coordinator, because of all the big plays that Cal had, go back and look at the 4 pass plays of 50 yards or more. Those are coverage busts. Those are the kids not doing what they're supposed to do and being in the places that they're supposed to be. So you can sit here and certainly criticize previous coaching staffs at Miami for the jobs that they've done and player development and all that kind of stuff. But I think, we knew going into this season, Miami was going to have a tough time replacing some of those guys that they had, at Cam Kitchens in the secondary, who lined guys up the right way. You're going to be counting on some freshmen and second-year guys to have to make some plays on defense. And what happened against Cal was you just had some bad plays done by the players. I didn't see anything scheme-wise where I was like, oh, man, they keep picking Miami apart with the same exact play. They weren't doing that. These were individual coverage busts if you go back and look at those plays.
Yeah, there was one run offensively where, was it Bain that missed the tackle or somebody, and then the kid escaped for 30 yards or something. Barron, I think it was Barron.
Tyler Barron,
It was Barron that made the bad play. And then, but again,
you had
what are you going to do? Pick on Tyler Barron? He's been a complete stud. He made a mistake. Okay. The tight end drops a ball, whatever. I mean, shit happens, bro. It's not stuff that I'm not watching an offensive coordinator run an offense that doesn't fit the quarterback, and we would complain about what the hell is going on here. I'm not watching you when you're supposed to take a knee, not take a knee. I'm not, there are things that are not going on anymore right now. And that's what I have to see from the sidelines. Now the next thing is the players, and that's the next level, bro. That takes over the next couple because you got to really think of it. While it's his 3rd year, it's really his 1st year where he kind of has his kind of players. He didn't really have overall his kind of players the first 2 years because he had to weed them out.
Yep, correct. And and it takes time to get there. He got the quarterback now that obviously can make all the difference. He's got veteran guys in the defensive line. He didn't necessarily always have those guys, the kind of guys that the big bodies, the O-line, the big bodies, right? All of those things. And look, it hasn't been perfect, but right now they're 6-0. They're at the midway point of the season. They don't have a ranked opponent on the schedule left at the moment because Louisville lost. They've lost their 2nd game in a row. They got Virginia this week, who's 4-1. So it is very much a situation where they take care of business. They finish the regular season unbeaten, and it doesn't matter what happens in the ACC championship game. And I think if you're a Miami fan, I mean, what were we all saying? Get to the ACC championship and win, or get into the playoff, right? And that's,
but it does matter. It does matter now because you might be the best team in the ACC, so you need to win it.
Well, yeah. Well, I think if they go unbeaten in the regular season,
it doesn't matter that they'll go in the playoff whether they win it or they don't. I totally understand. But if the season continues to play out this way and you get to the championship and you are undefeated, you better hand an ACC title over to your fan base, bro. You better.
Right. You should. But I will say this: Clemson certainly looks a lot better than they did week 1 against Georgia. So that's the game I'm looking forward to. I want to see Miami and Clemson play.
Right. That's the game. That's the measuring stick.
Yep.
You know, Florida State isn't one right now. The measuring stick has been Clemson. You know, Florida State flash in the pan last year, but overall has been Clemson. So you need to, take that. You need to knock the king off the mountain.
100%.
By the way, if you're able to do it in year 3, where technically it's his first year where he has his guys, that would be a hell of an accomplishment.
And I think more than anything else, what I think Miami fans are going to want at the end of the season is to know that next year there's not going to be a Florida State type fall off, right? Because Florida State fans were feeling damn good about themselves last year, and this year they're 1-5. And I think the difference between Mario and Mike Norvell is that Mario invested a lot more time and energy in high school recruiting to build a sustainable winner. And I think right now you're seeing that when you live and die just with the portal, you could have a year like this where you don't hit on guys and you go 1-5. And I think for Miami's purposes, what you want to see Miami do after Cam Ward goes to the NFL and you lose some of these guys to the draft, that you come back and you continue to be a contender year in and year out. And that's really what Miami fans want more than anything else.
Yeah, but you and I have talked about this already. If you do this, they'll be in line waiting to come to play for you.
100%.
The next quarterback that's frustrated where he's at is going to, oh, shit, I'm going to Miami, bro. Chris Paul's got this thing going, and then you just keep building everything else, and kids are just going to want to come, and parents and guardians are going to want to send their kids here
100%.
Because it's a better place for them to get ahead. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah. All right, what do you got going on so they can check you out there at The Athletic, my friend?
Well, got my oddly specific predictions that I turn in every single week. I have 36-18, I think, for the season, which is a pretty good record for my straight up picks. I have that. I'll be doing, I'm sure, a midseason report podcast for Wide Right. That'll be coming out for Canes fans. I'm recording that tomorrow. We have our ACC power rankings, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to read about not just Miami, but everything going on in college football, come check out my stuff at The Athletic.
Does Miami become top 5 after this week? Somebody lose?
Yeah, I think so. You got Oregon, Ohio State playing this week, so one of them is going to they're definitely going to slide up to top 5 status. And let's not forget, Penn State has to go play at USC, and Penn State's ranked ahead of Miami as well. So those are potentially 2 teams that could be a big week for the Canes.
Bye week. That's a beautiful thing. All right, follow us at Manny_Navarro. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
Anytime, brother. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Caneswear. You want 10% off? We got it for you. Use our code BIG010. You can get 10% off on anything and everything practically with a Canes logo on it. They got those new Canes sneakers coming too, by the way. Go check it out. Use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off. And they've got Dolphins gear. They've got Miami Heat gear. Now that the Heat are starting. Panthers, they start tonight. The Panthers, baby, come on. You got championship gear and everything. So if you haven't gotten your Florida Panthers championship hat or shirt or something like that, go down to Caneswear. Check it out, man. Inter Miami, Messi kits, all of that. Messi shirts. They've got all kinds of Inter Miami hats and flags and bracelets and you name it, man. They've got it there at Caneswear. Caneswear at Miami Fanwear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Tell them that Big O sent you. And by the way, if you order online over $99, you will get free shipping. So not only will you get 10% off when you use our code BIG010, You will get free shipping when you order over $99 at caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. The Jets, by the way, have released an announcement or a press release on the firing of Robert Salah. This morning, I informed Robert Salah that he will no longer serve as the head coach of the Jets. I thanked him for his hard work these past 3.5 years and wished him and his family well moving forward. This was not an easy decision, but we are not where we should be given our expectations. And I believe now is the best time for us to move in a different direction. Jeff Ulbrich will serve as our interim head coach for the remainder of the season. He is a tough coach who has the respect of the coaches and players on this team, along with Aaron Rodgers, who he loves. I'm sorry, I added that. I believe he, along with the coaches on the staff, can get the most out of our talented team and our bum-ass 40-year-old quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry, I added that too. And attain the goals we have established this offseason, like sucking again, because we are the Jets sucks. You can figure out what I added or didn't add in that statement. Does it really matter? Really? Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. The great Alan Blanco. Yes. Does your company need custom printing or embroidery? Does your corporation? Does your school? Does your event? Fantasy league? Whatever it is, man. Reach out to 3A Graphics. Let me give you his number. Wherever you're at in the country, 786-618-1443. Custom printing and embroidery. They get it done tonight, 7 o'clock, ESPN. The Panthers are back, game 1 of the regular season. They host the Boston Bruins, and the Panthers are favored by 1.5 goals. The over and under is 5.5 goals. Panthers minus 155 on the money line. Boston plus 130. Plus, they had their ring ceremony yesterday, which was absolutely awesome. Heat had their red, white, and pink game yesterday. Bam shot 11 3-pointers, made 5 of them. Pella Larson had 21 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds. Zion Pullen, 11 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. Kashad Johnson shot 9 of 12 from the field for 18 points. Khalil Ware, the first-round pick, 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. By the way, Dolphins, Canes, and Inter Miami all off this weekend. Last night in Monday Night Football, the Chiefs defeated the Saints 26-13. Kansas City has improved to 5-0. Tonight, WNBA action. They're tied at 2-2. So this is game 5. It's the last game. Who advances to the finals to take on the Liberty starting on Thursday. And it's the Sun and the Lynx tonight. Tip off at 8 o'clock. The Lynx are favored by 4.5. The over and under is 152.5. By the way, I'm taking the Sun plus 4.5 on this one. Okay. Sun plus 4.5. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. Panthers, Boston, I'm waiting for the live line while I'm watching the game. I'm not giving up 1.5 goals. That's very dangerous. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. So the Chiefs last night, huh? They improved to 5-0. And this year, they lose Rashee Rice, right? Not to an arrest, but to an injury. They lose the running back, Isaiah Pacheco. Important I mean, Isaiah Pacheco is incredibly important to that offense. And Rashee Rice was the number one receiver next to Travis Kelce, right? So huge losses. And yet they're 5-0. They find ways to win, man. 26-13 yesterday. And remember, they had a kind of a slow start last year. This time, they have a bunch of injuries and key injuries to their offense, and yet they continue to churn along. The Kansas City Chiefs, they lose Tyreek Hill. No problem. We'll win titles. We'll win a bunch of games. They lose Damian Williams, former Miami Dolphin, who was kicking ass with them. Not a problem. LaShawn McCoy got like 500-600 yards one season for them. Sammy Watkins was there for a couple of years. Very productive for them. Mecole Hardman was a good role player for them, right? They lost him. They brought him back last year. Obviously, he helped out in the Super Bowl. But they've lost him over the last couple of years, and then he came back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, here today, gone tomorrow, injuries all the time. He had some moments, and then he's had off moments. Darrell Williams, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice. And I could get into offensive linemen too. But overall, weapons, they lose them all the time. And if you have Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, you just find a way to overcome all that shit, dude. It really is amazing. And Tyreek Hill can sit there and say, well, I got my money, but he's got to also sit there and it's got to eat at his craw that they don't need his ass whatsoever. Remember, they won a Super Bowl with Tyreek, and then they lost the following Super Bowl because that's the Super Bowl that Pat Mahomes got his ass kicked because they had no offensive line. They had lost linemen during that offseason. So they actually had two down years and got rid of Tyreek. And so Tyreek, or it doesn't matter if it's LaShawn McCoy or Sammy Watkins or Isaiah Pacheco or Rashee Rice or whatever it is, they find a way to overcome whatever weapons they have lost. It's impressive. I mean, I got to give them credit. That's pretty awesome, dude. That's pretty freaking awesome. That is one where you got to tip your hat sometimes to that stuff. Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Crazy shit, man. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Steve Chapman, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Remember, you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation on Cash App or Venmo. Steve Chapman says, I don't have any crypto, and I'm not a naysayer. My question is, if Bitcoin is the number one coin and it's going to eventually be a worldwide currency accepted everywhere for all transactions, why are the other coins necessary? Wouldn't everybody just prefer? Steve, one has nothing to do with the other. And Bitcoin is a store value. It's going to be used as money transactions for lesser countries. I will not be buying anything with Bitcoin. I will not buy a Bitcoin hat. I will not buy an iPad. I will not buy gas. I will not buy pizza. I will not buy an iPhone. I won't pay my rent. I'm not going to pay my mortgage. I'm not paying insurance. I'm not doing anything with Bitcoin. Okay? I can if I want to, but I'm not because it's store value and it grows. So you're going to use Litecoin as money. You're going to use Ethereum as money. You're going to use Cardano, Avalanche. You're going to use other ones as currency, actually. Or you'll use stable coins like Tether and USDC as money. Most people will save because Bitcoin is digital gold. Ethereum is, okay, let me explain like basic 101 about what we're talking about with crypto, okay? The blockchain is the internet, the new internet. And then Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, SUI, all these companies are like cities on the blockchain. And so Avalanche is a blockchain like Bitcoin is. And it sits there on the blockchain. It's got its own blockchain connected to the other chains and the internet, in other words. It's the modern internet where we're moving all to. You don't know that, but eventually you will. Okay? Your entire financial world is being built on the blockchain. Okay? It's going to all be taken off the internet. It'll be the new internet, which is the blockchain. So, companies like Amazon, they're on Avalanche. I don't know where Home Depot is going to be, but they're going to choose to be on one of these cities on the blockchain. And these cities are going to house businesses. Like the internet houses all the businesses, well, now it's a little different. Now there'll be hubs where people will be hosting their companies from. You understand? And so Bitcoin is different than Ethereum. Ethereum is a complete blockchain business. Okay? Now, Bitcoin also has business on its blockchain, but Bitcoin is a store value because there's only 21 million Bitcoin that it will ever be mined. 19.4 million of the Bitcoin have been mined. So basically, we've got about 1.6 million Bitcoin left to be mined over the next 40 years. And then we will have no more Bitcoin. And there is 425 Bitcoins mined every day. Every 4 years, a halving. Why is it called a halving? Because it'll go from 425 to 212 and a half. And so on and so forth. 4 years from then will be 106 and a quarter. You get what I'm saying? So so every 4 years, less and less are produced every day. So Bitcoin is different. Whereas in Ethereum, there's 21 million Bitcoin. Okay. And in Ethereum, I'll give you okay, here we go. In Ethereum, there are circulating. I can pull this thing up. It's taking forever. Okay, so now in Ethereum, I pull up Ethereum, and we have circulating supply 120 million ETH are circulating. A little bit different than 21 million, right? 120 million. So that's where there's a lot more ETH than Bitcoin. So that's why the value will be less. Now, they do have EPPI 1551 on Ethereum where they do burn a percentage of Ethereum, but it's a really small percentage. And it's not enough that it's going to move it like drastically or anything like Bitcoin. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is nearly 4 million Bitcoins have been lost already from people that just don't have them. So really, there isn't 21 million. It's really about 16 million. And that's why the value of Bitcoin is going to explode. So Bitcoin, if you're smart, it's more of a store value. Now, in places like Argentina, in places like Colombia, in places like Africa, in places like, where it's a lower level income, and those people will end up using Bitcoin as money for transactions. Okay, but there's a huge difference between what you're watching, what it is, what Bitcoin is, what Polygon is, what Cosmos is, what Cardano is. It's all completely different. But what they are cities, basically, that are going to hold businesses, is what they're doing. And so all these businesses will eventually hook onto these different corporations. Okay, Polygon's got a ton of companies that are involved with them. So does Avalanche, and so does Cosmos, and so all these, and so every company will find a home on the blockchain, which is the modern internet. Okay, that's kind of like it's basic 101 what I'm giving you guys. There's a little bit more to it, but at least for those of you like this gentleman, this gives you at least a little bit of an explanation what is going on and what's the difference, Steve, between Bitcoin and everything else. All right, there you go. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little football with the one and only David Furones and our Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
What's happening, my brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Bye week now, so actually today's the one day the Dolphins work. So I'm over here at team facilities, and then they're off the rest of the week. So I was hoping I'd get to enjoy the bye week a little bit more, but this weather is looking rough. I mean, it could always be worse, though. Of course, I mean, thoughts and prayers going out to everyone on the west coast of Florida and through the central part of the state, because this storm is no joke.
Yeah, you could be in Tampa, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So,
by the way, the Bucs left today for New Orleans, so they can't waste any time. They had to leave today for their game this week against New Orleans.
Right.
And that's got to be tough for them because they've got houses, family. Are the family going to stay there? Are some of them going with them to New Orleans? Which I would imagine some are being flown over to New Orleans or whatever, but.
I hope everyone gets out of the way, just get out of there. Protect everything as much as you can and evacuate.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy stuff. All right. Talk to us. What's going on in Dolphins camp? Where they are injury wise? Let's get with the easy stuff.
Sure. Yeah. A little bit before we're actually supposed to, because the guys are still out there watching practice, but we did not see, of course, Devon Achane at practice. So, as he goes through concussion protocol, Javon Holland, he's going to be a week-to-week thing. So he wasn't out there. And then Jordan Poyer still not there, but we did hear Mike McDaniel was a little optimistic that maybe on the other side of the bye. And then also maybe some guys just nursing small things or just resting up. But, we didn't see Jalen Ramsey. Kendall Fuller, of course, we saw, get attended to on the sideline, loosen back up, but he went back in, but he wasn't out there. Did I say David Long? Calais Campbell, Emmanuel Ogbah, and Malik Washington as well. So maybe some of those are vet rests. Maybe some of those are just like small, minor things that they'll have the bye week to get through. But, a healthy offense and then a lot of guys trying to heal up on defense.
So, and I would imagine Tua is going to be out there practicing.
When they come back, well, what
now when you go out there to go check him out, he'll be out there just throwing the ball and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, when they come back, Mike McDaniel said he's going to be consulting with more doctors this week during the bye. We saw him just chatting with Wes Welker out there. I'm guessing he's more or less fine. That's what I'm reading between the lines. And just that they expect that he'll make it through those phases. They just haven't put him through the phases of the cardio work and then the team drills and the stage 5 to get through concussion protocol, all that stuff. So I think they're pretty confident that he'll make it through once they do return to practice.
Yeah. It's just listen, man. They just got to cover their asses, and that's what they did, and that's why they put them on the IR. So they, the optics, because clearly once he went to Seattle, he was fine, bro. And that's the thing about this, man. Everybody's DNA is different. Maybe he bounces back quickly from this shit. Other people, they have headaches and lingering issues, and it lasts a little longer. DNA is different for everybody. Bro, Zonka made a living of leading with his head. And the helmets in those days, bro. The helmets in those days. And they played past the whistle in those days too. And look at him. He's just fine. And he was a human boulder. And nothing happened to the guy. So these are things that we cannot predict. And maybe Tua's just got, a rock head. You know what I'm saying? Well, he kind of plays with the decisions he makes with his body. He kind of does have a rock for a head, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Hey, and you look at Zonka, still alive and kicking, and living a quality life. Like you still hear him on Twitter voicing his opinion. I know I saw his tweet that he was fed up with the way the first half was going in New England, so I know he was watching, and he's active for sure. You still see him do interviews and stuff. So he's got it all going for him still. So you love to see that, but. With Tua, then I did wonder, going back to the start. My initial thought was hold off on IR unless the indications are that there is no early progress. You get this bye anyway, which gives you 4 weeks while missing 3 games. So I would just hate that if it goes like this, where they're 2-3 now, and that at Indianapolis game is so critical. 3-3 at the point where you return with Tua to 2-4. The verses there of that difference, it feels huge. And to not have Tua at Indianapolis, in case you do lose that game with a backup quarterback, if it's Tyler Huntley again, then it would just eat at me if he was like weeks from the clearance, or like when he could have been cleared. It could come back to bite you at the end of the year. It just feels like I just worry about it.
Of course. The Tennessee game came back to bite you.
Yeah, that one could come back to bite you this year too.
Right, exactly. So you've got to win against Indy and make it 3-3, because it just makes it harder to make the playoffs, man. There's only a certain amount of games left, and then you've got almost no room for error. So that is definitely going to be an issue. So you've got to try to find a way. And he announced that which makes sense, that Huntley will be the starter. Right at this point, you're getting more used to him. He'll get you more used to the offense. So you're better off sticking, with the same guy.
Yeah, you don't need change again. If that start at New England was a disaster again, then I could see something coming off the other side of the bye week. But right now, you're growing accustomed to him. He's growing accustomed to this offense. He managed it. He operated it much better in his second start than his first one. So you saw how much improvement there was in just 6 days, going from Monday night to a Sunday afternoon game. So now 2 more weeks, then I think you'll really see some good stuff from him, hopefully. And the way the run game got going, that takes a lot of pressure off of him. So keep building off of that as well.
That's, to me, was everything. You know what I mean? Huntley's going to make a couple of throws for you, but he's not going to carry you, and he's not a passer. You got to run the ball. And like I told you in the post-game show, I'd like to see Huntley run more, actually.
Exactly, yeah.
I think you got to use his legs as a weapon also to help move the chains. But, the question is, will Mike doesn't show a consistency for some things like he does for others. And so it's just kind of crazy like that. And you just hope that there's a dedication, to the run moving forward, because, by the way, that is also a nice signal for the offensive line, which is much maligned and people pick on them constantly. If you could start doing this more often, I think people would respect the line that's currently there a little bit more.
I was going to say, you had to come away from that game giving the O-line a little more respect for the job they did. So, it's not just running backs when you get that kind of output. Now, I do know there are some advanced metrics that showed how Jalen Wright got plenty of yards after first contact. So, he was running well after the contact. Raheem Mostert, we know can do the things that we saw on Sunday in New England. But, several good performances on the offensive line. And it wasn't like they found all the success running behind the same guy in the same direction. You look through it, then they really, it was some outside zone. It was some between the tackles, running behind different linemen. So a lot of good performances there on the O-line. I know like PFF has their different grades for different guys, and I think they had Liam Eichenberg way down there, but there were still some successful runs running behind him too in there. So maybe some of the plays where he didn't grade so well, it was because of his blocking sort of away from the play. But yeah, I mean, I really like what we saw out of the O-line, and maybe it's that we're seeing that Butch Berry effect again a little bit as we get a little bit deeper into the season, get more games under these guys' belt, like Robert Jones being a starter for the first time, Aaron Brewer being new in this offense or with these coaches, even though he's a fit, Liam Eichenberg still growing as well. So, Teron Armstead having to come back. And by the way, making it through a game healthy too. Let's not forget that. That was good to see from T-State.
By the way, we saw Odell come back. Where's Isaiah Wynn?
Yeah, we are closing in on a full calendar year now since he got hurt in Philadelphia with that quadriceps. And I mean, I saw him in the locker room the other day, but just like sort of coming through. So, I mean, he seemed to be walking fine at least. So, I mean, I don't want to go speculating, but it certainly seems like
that's what we do for a living.
You're right. It certainly appears. Right.
Come on.
Right. Because there were parts of training camp where we saw him doing work on the side, and then all of a sudden he disappeared, and then still on PUP into the start of the year. Now we're coming back on a full calendar year. So I imagine there was some setback at some point, especially since Mike McDaniel would not tell, because he always says when there wasn't a setback. So since he hasn't used that word specifically or saying that there were no setbacks with him, then that might indicate that there was at some point, because he'll always tell you when there wasn't one.
Yeah. And the other thing was that they got the tight end involved more this week, which was, I think, an important thing. And I hope that Jonnu becomes a bigger part, of the offense. What your thoughts on Salah getting fired?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been waiting on this for some time. Timing for this one specifically, it caught me a little bit by surprise. It wasn't like on my radar to happen now. When I saw it, I was like, oh, is it because the Jets are on bye coming back from London? And then I looked like, no, the Vikings did take their bye post London at 5-0 here, but the Jets also actually have a Monday night game against the Bills. So I did find that timing a bit curious. Right before you're still 2-3, which is tied for second in the division, and you're only a game off of Buffalo. Meaning, if you beat them at home, then you're right there. You could actually be the AFC East leader. So I found the timing a little bit curious, but it just speaks to what's going on with the Jets often in disarray. So not surprised that they eventually made this move, but I was surprised that it's coming off a loss to an undefeated team where actually you were coming back at the end. And actually not on the bye week for them. That's what I found curious.
What do you got going on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, just getting some bye week content now. So I think I'll be checking in on the rookies, how they're doing, give you some bye week sort of updates, first 5 games for these rookies. And
I got a guy already calling Chop a bust, and it's like, dude, like, he's raw. Everybody knew he didn't have moves yet. He only has that quick first step. You think he was going to learn technique? It's going to take him a year or two to learn technique and become a guy. This is all pure. You drafted this kid on pure potential. I get that you need the sacks now, so it becomes a little bit more desperation. But if you didn't realize he was super raw, I can't help you, bro. That was Chop wasn't going to turn into a good player right away, dude. I don't know what people were expecting, but your thoughts on the Chop complaints, because I'm getting them already on the chat board.
Yeah, that is one thing. You knew he had potential, but that it would take a little bit of time. He is raw, but it just hurts that you can't get that immediate contribution out of him, given that you knew you were bringing back Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb from season-ending injuries. Phillips comes back, but then now he's hurt again, another season ender. Chubb still isn't back, and then the guy that you did sign in free agency when you let Andrew Van Ginkel walk, he retired. So it's just all that attrition just piling up.
That's bullshit. Everybody uses that, and that's lazy. They got Agba. He's better than Shaq. It became a blessing in disguise. Shaq retired. So
maybe he wasn't going to come in and do anything. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Why are people harping on the Shaq thing like you and others when you don't mention Agba? That's
but it's more so. But it's sure. I mean, you release Agba and then you got him back at a cheaper rate coming back. But it's just the matter of how that was the move that you made to sort of solidify. Okay, we'll be able to hold ourselves over on the edge, bring in this guy. And then you let AVG walk at the same time, and then you never even get that guy. You know, it was sort of like not having the foresight that any of this could happen.
Because Agba's really not a fit for this defense, but they had no choice. Now they had to bring him back. And as for AVG, they were worried that he was approaching 29 and he had a Liz Frank injury. So they screwed up there big time.
Yeah, they did.
There's no doubt. I mean, I was an AVG guy from the get-go, and they screwed up there. But I know that's their concerns were he was approaching 29, and he was coming off a Liz Frank injury. So they were worried about taking that chance.
Yeah, sure. Legitimate concerns, but Shaq Barrett probably had even greater concerns at this point.
Shaq Barrett was a 1-year Band-Aid. That's just a get-by player. So in the end, you made a better move by getting Agba because he's been terrific.
Yeah. No, I mean, no complaints on Agba. Yeah, had a sack this past game, interception the one before, gotten a pass bat down up there. Now I know that touchdown run against Ramondre Stevenson, he didn't set the edge early.
Right.
Which, then it led to, I mean, even worse were the missed tackles by May and Holland later in that run. But, it shouldn't have turned into what it did turn into. But still, and then, Chop Robinson is a liability in run defense, as we know. But
look, Kamara can't even get active.
Yeah. So that's the other thing.
Tyus
Bowser is signed Thursday, practices Friday, and he's up and playing half of the snaps while Kamara's inactive.
But he knows the defense.
Oh, yeah, right. So he can slide right in. He knows Anthony Weaver.
The defense.
Baltimore.
Kamara are babies, bro. They're babies, and so that's I can't judge those guys till years 2 and 3.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
As far as judging them, it just hurts you're not getting any contributions yet.
Yeah. But that's how it is sometimes.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't get contributions from guys early on, and it takes them a while. Sometimes you'll get an AVG who makes contributions every goddamn time you play him.
Yeah. My God, what a start to the season he's having over there.
No. What a start from the beginning of his career. Every time you played him, he made something happen, dude. He's a ball hawk. Always has been, always will be, dude. Even when he was in Wisconsin with those big-ass pads of his, he was making plays. He was just always around the football, He's just a really intelligent football player. He just has that knack of being around the football, and you just can't teach that kind of stuff. You really can't. Either they have it or they don't.
He's missed at Dolphins headquarters, that's for sure.
Big time. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. That's David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, thank you as always, sir. We will catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got it. Welt and Rayom, Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, for our friends on the West Coast. Welt and Rayom has helped. They're helping several people already. Okay, several of our listeners on the West Coast that listen to our show. And I know we have more listeners out there on the West Coast, or listeners in Central Florida, or listeners on the Gold Coast that you're going to be dealing with Milton. Do not call the insurance company. Plus, they're going to be overloaded. Call Welt and Rayom. They have their own adjusters. They send their adjusters. They will assess the situation. Then they call the insurance company for it. You have enough to worry about picking up stuff and taking care of things and your family and all that. Let them kick the insurance company's ass like they did for me and like they've done for so many of our listeners. And they're doing it right now for some of our current listeners that are there right now that are already recovering from the last hurricane from last week. I mean, it's ridiculous. Call Welt and Rayom right now or save it on the cell phone. 954-966-4646. Roof damage starts at 40 miles an hour. So we could be facing that here in South Florida. So if you have any kind of roof damage, you start noticing any spots on your roof, you might have roof damage. Call Welton Realm. They send over their adjusters. They'll see. Do you need a roof? Oh, you need a new roof. And they're going to tell the insurance company, and you're going to get your roof. So call Welton Realm, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Varonis. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
By the way, going back to the crypto point for Steve Chapman, if you're still watching, example, I just pulled it up, Polygon. Okay, like I told you, the blockchain, and then Polygon or Cosmos or Ethereum or Avalanche or Bitcoin, they're all different. They're cities on the blockchain. Okay, Polygon has partnered with Nike, Starbucks, MasterCard, Adobe, Disney, Meta, Facebook, Adidas, Mercedes, Reddit, Google Cloud. I mean, I'm a big Polygon-matic guy. I've told you about this for a few years now. I have it staked and everything. So I'm just saying, you think they're going to be successful? Did you hear the company? And they have a shitload of more companies that are tied to them. But just Nike, Starbucks, MasterCard, Adobe, Disney, Facebook, Adidas, Mercedes, Reddit, and Google Cloud. Yeah, that's just a couple of partners. So their websites are being run on the Polygon blockchain. Okay, so that's the difference there. You know what? Let's do it, since you guys kind of led me to this before I get to my Dolphin stuff that I want to talk about. We love to do something called the Crypto Bro Show, where we fill you in on everything going on in the world of crypto and what affects your investments. And that is why we will fire away the Crypto Bro Show.
The Crypto Bro Show is solely for entertainment purposes. Orlando Alzugari and his guests are not financial advisors or investments consultants. If you ever plan to invest, make sure you do your homework, talk to a professional, and understand investing is very risky and volatile. Good luck in any of your investments, and only invest what you're willing to lose.
Time to log into the blockchain and find out what's the latest in Bitcoin and crypto in our Crypto Bro Show. Crypto Bros. This segment brought to you by RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. Take your home or business to the next level with RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. Call Ray or Mike at 305-345-3649. You dream it, they'll build it. See their fantastic work on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island. Crypto Bros. Here's the Crypto Bro himself, Orlando Alzugari.
Yeah, we love it. All right. First of all, let's go with what's going on in Bitcoin, give you the latest, give you where it stands right now, holding at 62,338. We have peaked in the 65.8 range back on September 27th. But we have been on a little bit of a dip here. Great time to take advantage. Ethereum is down 2.2% to 2420. So it is 420 on Ethereum. Do the apropos thing. Solana is at $143. And then we could just go on and talk about many others. The market right now is up. Dow is up 68 points. The S&P is up almost 46 points, and the NASDAQ is just up over a point right now. In the world of the blockchain, Bitcoin, and everything else going on, bad news in Hong Kong. The Sang Index crashed 9.4% today, posting its largest drop since 2008 and the second largest drop since 2000. Remember, crypto and Bitcoin is worldwide. It's not just United States. And so we've got to talk about other things that affect it because it's called liquidity. And stay tuned because I'm going to show you the most important chart that matters to Bitcoin. I mean, when we talk about this, this is the chart that you got to watch, and it has a lot to do with this and many other things. Over the last 3 weeks, China's stock market was up nearly 30% on stimulus announcements. Remember, I tell you all the time that all these countries are just printing money and devaluing their currency. Not just us. China's doing it. Japan's doing it. Europe is doing it. Everybody has done it. And most people outside of the Swiss and a couple of other people where their currency is stronger than everybody else's, everybody is hurting. Okay. And we will be headed for hyperinflation down the line. In late 2025, we will start to really feel it. You're already feeling it. You just don't realize it, but you're already, the inflation you guys keep talking about, it's because they all print money, not because of anything else, but, whatever. And so stimulus are bad. It's bad for the economy, even if people may need it or whatever. I get it, but, we got to fend for ourselves. When the country starts giving money away, they're just printing and devaluing the money. And then they're just adding it to your books, and your kids are the ones that are going to have to pay for all that shit. And they're not going to be able to, by the way. So a record 3.5 trillion yuan, yuan, of equities changed in China's trading sessions today. This surpassed a previous all-time high, which was set on September 30th after stimulus announcements. So how does the market go from extreme euphoria to a crash? Well, they cut the reserve requirements by 0.5%. They cut 7-day RRP rates down to 0.2%, lowering mortgage rates, injecting $142 billion into the banks, forcing the rate cuts. You're making less money. See, every country is a business. So you got to have taxes in order to run the business. You got to pay for the roads. You got to pay for Social Security. You got to pay for all kinds of stuff. Schooling. What is it? What's it called? Defense. All kinds of shit that you have going on. So there has to be some taxes, right? And, for years we had 0%. That's not good business. And there's a reason why we're in the hole that we're in, because for years you weren't taking in the kind of money that you're supposed to be taking in, because property taxes alone aren't going to satisfy. Sales tax alone aren't going to satisfy. You got to do other things because you got a lot of things to pay. So other countries do the same thing. And these pandemic stimuluses and all that stuff, that's all bad. None of that ends up being good for us. It ends up being bad for us. So now U.S. stocks are acting like a safe haven. So they're selling and buying U.S. stocks. They were selling out their U.S. stocks in Bitcoin and buying Chinese stocks. And that's why the pump came. Now they're selling them out and going back to U.S. stocks. So China's stock market is still up 25% over the year, even after this drop. But, Hong Kong, by the way, financial regulators have confirmed that the full regulatory framework for digital assets is set to be completed next year. So as they start not only allowing crypto to be exchanged, but then regulations set in here in the U.S. and in other places, the explosion is going to happen. Something that you don't hear the media. See, the national media will tell you FTX collapse, and Sam Bankman-Fried and everything else going on, right? But are they doing it with the same kind of vigor, telling you that everybody got their money back from FTX plus interest, plus 19% interest? So you're getting your money back plus 19%. By the way, that $16 billion that's coming back in to those people, that's going to go into crypto. Not all 16 billion, but easily half of it. Easily, these people, they all got their money back. Nobody ever talks about those kind of things because on the blockchain, you can't really do illegal activity. If you do, there's like a 99.9% chance they're going to catch you because it's impossible almost. Everything is traceable on the blockchain. That's why good old cash is going to be missed by criminals. Big time. Anyway, where's Elizabeth Warren? Is that bitch telling you about everybody in FTX getting their money back? Nah, of course not. So, ETFs, all right? They hit an inflow yesterday of $235 million, the Bitcoin ETFs, $235.2 million. Best performance since the beginning of the month. Fidelity, by the way, brought in $103 million. iBit, $97.9 million. Bitwise and ARK Investments chimed in at $13 million and $12.6 million. BlackRock now owns 1,565 Bitcoin. Fidelity, 1,639. ARK Investments, 199. Bitwise, 207. And VanEck, 85. BlackRock, by the way, is on the verge of surpassing $23 billion in Bitcoin holdings on iBit. The country of Bahrain, the National Bank of Bahrain, has now launched its first Bitcoin fund for institutional investors, offering capped Bitcoin gains and 100% downside loss protection. Countries, corporations, what are you doing? And I'm not a financial advisor, but I can just tell you what is going on. Tether reached 350 million users after a 24% surge in 2024. It now holds $119.6 billion market cap and has significant U.S. Treasury holdings and Bitcoin, by the way. And what do you think those people are waiting for? There's a lot of them that are about to just jump into this, into crypto, man. The Russian deputy foreign minister has stated that discussions on a single currency for the BRICS economic blocs are premature. And let me tell you something. We're learning more and more, at least I know I have in the last 5 years, about money and the history of money and how a currency will dominate the world like the U.S. has for 120 years, I believe. And we're now dying, and we're not going to be the world's currency down the line. We're on a huge downslope right now. Most people don't understand that or don't know that. But it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Spain or France or whatever. Different countries have taken turns where their currency is the number one and the world's currency for 80, 100, 110, 120 years. It's kind of like it's a cycle that it dies around the century mark at one point or another, just before or just after. And we're in the process of just after it dying. But with the BRICS talking about this, I don't think it's going to end up happening. Because if you start looking at the history, why do that? And that's why you're seeing everybody stack gold, and they're stacking silver, and now they're stacking Bitcoin, because I think that's where money is going to be backed. And it's going to go back to that instead of the printing and devaluing of money, which is what everybody ends up doing. So the BRICS have to be careful because they would fall into the same rut that everyone in every other country has in the history of our existence. So I thought it was interesting, but I wanted to throw that out there because of, the situation that we're in. MicroStrategy stock, MSTR is the sticker, is set to surge by 64%, according to some experts on the Bitcoin investment bet, analysts say. It's trading right now at $191. Bernstein's bullish forecast is based on the assumption that Bitcoin will hit 1 million by 2033. With MicroStrategy continuing to accumulation strategy, in June, Bernstein's analysis say their Bitcoin price predictions, raising expectations. They projected Bitcoin could reach 200,000 by 2025, 500,000 by 2029, and 1 million by 2033. By the way, in some bad news, really it's not, But the SEC just gave Crypto.com a Wells notice. Now, they do this all the time, and then they try to sue them, and then they lose. So Gary Gensler is used to losing. That's kind of his thing, you know? Let me show you the most important chart that matters to Bitcoin. And I've talked about this before. It's called the M2 money supply. This is the M2 money supply is the total banks in the world. French banks, British banks, Brazilian banks, Argentine banks, German banks, US banks, Canadian banks. The M2 money supply is the world supply of money. And I want you to look at the history of Bitcoin in the blue and the global M2 money supply on the black. Now, look at the correlation. When you start printing money and you start going up, what happens with Bitcoin? Okay? And when you look at some of the movement, the M2 money supply only goes up. Why, ladies and gentlemen? What have we learned on the show? For those of you that didn't know, everybody prints. Does that look like it's going down at any point from the beginning of where it's at, where it was under 80 trillion, and now we're going over 100? Well, we're over 100 trillion. Just about. They keep printing. There's more money on the streets. And they'll end up on the streets because it'll end up worthless. And look at the jack from Bitcoin from 2020 on, from pandemic on, when people were afraid where their money was going, because those are smart people. And now even smarter people, as I showed you, the new whales are, if you watched yesterday's episode, I showed you the graph with the new whales. And that's the institutions that are jumping in. And they are the new whales. So everybody is starting to print. Every country is starting to print and infuse their economies because they have to. They have no choice. People are going to put their money where they know it's going to grow. To the one asset in the world that started 7-8 digits behind the penny, and it's in the 60,000 range. And over time, as I keep telling you, you hold Bitcoin, and over time, the growth is undeniable. You cannot argue. If you hang on to the daily, weekly, or monthly volatility, you are lying to yourself. But if you hold on for a 4-year period, the difference is enormous. And if you hold on for 8 years, the amount of money you are Xing over is ridiculous. So it's not too late. You're going to regret it that you didn't buy it at 63 or 67 or 70 or 60 or 55 when it's at 300 and 500 and $1 million. Not a financial advisor, but just a dude that has some common sense, and I think I see what the writing on the wall is and what everybody else is doing around the world. And then I see the people that are way rich. Well, I'm not rich. I'm only rich because of my wife and my daughter, because I have two amazing people in my life. But the people that are rich and really rich and super rich are doing, and what my broke ass should do. So I see what the powerful people are doing, and I see the powerless what should do. So it's up to you all out there. Do as you please. All right. That is episode number 5, October 8th, on the Crypto Bro Show.
The Crypto Bro Show is brought to you by RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. From complete makeovers for homes or condos to impact windows and doors to drywall with level 5 finish. Call Ray or Mike at RM Contractors and Custom Drywall. 305-345-3649. You dream it, they'll build it. See their exceptional work on Instagram at RMC Fisher Island. Crypto Bros. Follow Big O for more crypto insight on X or Twitter at Big O Show.
All right. Thank you. And good luck to all of you out there, whatever you are investing in, Bitcoin, Ethereum, any other altcoins, meme coins. I'm not really a meme coin guy. I did a little SHIB in the last go around, but that's about it. I'm not really much of a meme coin guy. Let's see. What else do we have going on to talk about on the show? Let's get into a little music and entertainment, since we always love talking music, entertainment, and we can also get some wrestlers' birthdays too at the same time. Let's start off with birthdays today for musicians on October 8th. Bruno Mars, Peter Gene Hernandez, American singer, songwriter, record producer, musician, absolute talent, born in 1985 on this date. Also celebrating a birthday today is Johnny Ramone. John Cummings, guitars for the punk rock band The Ramones, of course. Let's see. Tony Wilson from Hot Chocolate. You sexy thing, you. I believe in miracles. He was born in 1947. Sheila Ferguson from the 3 Degrees, singer. She was born in 1947. When will I see you again? Let's see. Who else? Dean Daughtry, musician, co-founder of the Atlantic Rhythm Section. Spooky! A little champagne jam. Imaginary love. I love ARS. Love ARS. Anyway, Dean Daughtry, happy birthday to you, sir. 1946. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2003 at the age of 76. Butch Rilera, musician from Redbone, born in 1945. Ray Royer, guitarist for Procol Harum, A Wider Shade of Pale, 1945. And let's see, Fred Cash from The Impressions, born in 1940. And that is musicians born on this date. Let's go with folks celebrating birthdays also on this date. Famous folks. Bella Thorne, TV actress. She is 27 years old. Gordon Cormier, TV actor, 15. Matt Damon, movie actor, 54 years old. I see a wrestler that I actually know the guy's name because I've heard it. Let's see who else. Sigourney Weaver. She is 75 years old today, Sigourney Weaver. And her image from Aliens will be burned in my mind forever. I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not. 81 years old. For a guy that's really known to be an absolutely huge asshole, supposedly. He's like a real jerk. Let's see who else. Hayden Capuzzo, a DJ. I have no idea who he is. I just felt like saying it. I don't even know if he's actually a known DJ. All right, what do you got there for wrestlers? Because I know you're going to have this guy because, you got to have him.
All right, Mike Rome. He was born on this date in 1981. Michael Nakazawa was born on this date in 1975.
That's two mics already, right there?
It's a bunch of mics on this one.
And you got another mic coming because that's the guy I have.
I don't. Paul Burchill was born on in this date, 1979. And because we don't call him Mike Mizanin in wrestling, he's the Miz, and he's awesome. Because today is his birthday. He turns 44. Those are your birthdays for October 8th, 2024.
Well, he is a Libra, So he's a Libra. Libras are good people, man. You know,
Parma.
Parma.
He's dead to me because he turned on our truth, so he's dead to me.
All right, let's get to music history. Let's find out what happened today on October 8th in music history. And we start off in 1968. Mama Cass played her first solo gig at Las Vegas Caesar's Palace. Her 2-week run there got canceled after the band proved to be poorly rehearsed and Cass got tonsillitis. In 88, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon dropped out of the Billboard 200 album chart 741 weeks after it first debuted there. In 94, U2, Iggy Pop, Cheap Trick, and others performed on the pay-per-view special, A Tribute to Elvis. In 1990, Eddie Vedder left his home in San Diego to go to Seattle, where he met his Pearl Jam bandmates for the first time and started a week of recording what would become their debut album, 10. In 2004, that's pretty funky, by the way. In 2004, Joan Jett, Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Homme, Sonic Youth, Blondie, and The Strokes performed at a charity tribute for the Ramones in New York. And in 2012, Green Day was forced to cancel their appearance at the New Orleans Voodoo Music Festival because singer Billy Joe Armstrong was struggling with substance abuse and headed to rehab. And that, my friends, is what happened today in music history. Right. Oh, man. What else do we have here? By the way, Motley Crue is going to return to a residency in Las Vegas. Don't go. I am a concert expert. Not a gambling expert, not a financial advisor, but I'm a freaking concert expert. Okay? I'm as concert expert as it gets. Vince Neil can't sing anymore. This is a farce of what they used to be. It's actually embarrassing that they're doing a money grab, and it's even more embarrassing if any of you go, because you're not even watching the real Motley Crue. So, just crazy. By the way, the Bucks doing a very smart thing. They are headed to New Orleans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are departing for their Week 6 matchup early to avoid the landfall of Milton in Tampa. The team announced it will leave Tampa on Tuesday morning and would be relocating operations to the New Orleans area for the rest of the week. The 3-2 Buccaneers take on the 2-3 New Orleans Saints in a South Divisional game on Sunday. The Bucs had a handful of extra days to recuperate after a dramatic loss to another NFC South team, the Falcons, on Thursday, while the Saints will be looking to bounce back from a defeat against the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. Milton has reached speeds, well, all of that. But anyway, so good move by Tampa Bay going out to New Orleans. Okay. If you are a foreigner or a Don Felder fan here in Florida, they are coming to town Thursday, March 13th at Hard Rock Live, or Saturday, August 16th. It's a Sunday. I'm sorry. In St. Augustine on Sunday, March 16th. You can catch Foreigner and Don Felder. Also, if you're a Night Ranger fan, I know I am, they will be Thursday, December 12th at the Plaza Live in Orlando. And if they're not coming to South Florida, which I think they're not, if they're not coming to South Florida, I might just be in Orlando for that concert. I love Night Ranger, bro. So I might just go. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check out their tour dates, because I saw this headline, but I didn't bother. Oh, they're in Orange Park on the 26th of October. So that's not bad. I didn't see that. Where is Orange Park? That sounds very Orlando-ish. Can you tell me, Sean, where Orange Park, Florida is? Because if it's closer to me than Orlando, then maybe I can go see them there. Right. Orlando, December 12th. Estero. Oh, I can go to that one. I'm going to go to that one instead at the Hertz Arena, December 13th. Oh, that's where I'll be.
Yeah, Orange Park is up near Duval.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's up by Jacksonville. Duval County. All right. So they're going to be December 13th at Estero at the Hertz Arena and December 14th in Clearwater at the Bay Care Sound. Never been there, but I have been to Hertz Arena. I love Hertz Arena. That is so cool. All right. So I will definitely go to see Night Ranger December 13th at Hertz Arena. 11,000 Everblades Parkway. You can count on me there. I'm going to take the wife probably. When you close your eyes, do you dream about me? Anyway. Big O, I can guarantee that people calling Chop a bust are the same people who called Jalen Phillips a bust his rookie year. Shaking my head. Yeah. It's just, and you probably got a little less because he was a Kane. So you got that Kane Dolphin Homer dude that kind of, doesn't want to say anything bad about anything. Chop is a youngin', bro, and he was raw, and you kind of knew that he just had that first step, and he didn't have any hand talent yet. He doesn't have any real skills yet to add to his first step. So these are all things that he's going to be learning in the process. You drafted him like a lot of players. You draft people with projections, and because they're raw, and that's it. That's all. Lenny Pena says, sing it, Big O. Although with Night Ranger, my favorite song is Sing Me Away. Sing Me Away. I love that song. The drummer actually sings that one. Jack Blades doesn't sing that song. Sing Me Away is sung by the drummer. That's and the drummer's still there, actually. So, yeah. I think he sings, doesn't he? He also, what's another song that he sings? I think he helps out in Sister Christian also, but he has a couple of other songs too. But yeah, I like Night Ranger. What up, Big O? West Coast guy checking in from the Bay Area. What's up, John? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for checking in. What else do we have to talk about? This is a bye week. And during a bye week, you want to catch up to some things, right? You want to maybe sharpen up some things in practice. You want to maybe tweak the game plans because you've got a different quarterback right now. But what I want most from Mike McDaniel is I want him to learn. And, we just talked about how Chop Robinson is a rookie and he's got to learn how to get better. And we can talk about how Mario Cristobal, we were concerned the first 2 years, right, with some of the stuff that was going on. And we're talking about coaching, coordinators, Mario, whatever it is, decisions that were being made. 6-0 right now in year 3. You're wondering, things are better. They've learned. Maybe, we're not seeing a lot of the stuff that we thought may be habitual, right? But with Mike McDaniel, it has been habitual. The bad decisions have been habitual. For Tua Tagovailoa, the bad decisions have been habitual. And so the question that I have during this time off for the bye week for Mike McDaniel, during this time off for Tua Tagovailoa during his IR stint for the concussion, are you guys going to learn? Because part of growing as a human being is learning from your mistakes. and the mistakes that you commit, the errors that cause problems for you, your teammates, your team, your family, your fan base, the decisions that you make on the field are trickling down and affecting everyone. Why? Because Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa are the two most important people on a football team. Your head coach and your quarterback. That's the head of the snake. The head of the snake can't continue to fail in challenges. The head of the snake can't continue to avoid the running game. And when it's working, stay with it. I get you want to prove to people you're this passing guru, but the best way to be the passing guru is actually by running. Tua, how many injuries do you need to suffer before you learn that you've got to take care of your body? And while you do that, you actually keep your season alive, your players hopeful, your fan base confident. At this point, no one has any of that. Your fan base isn't confident in you anymore. Your players, they lost that hope. You got to start making right decisions. Mike McDaniel, you got to start making the right decisions. Those receiver screens, they're not working nearly as much. Let's get away from that. Let's go. The penalties, got to cut that out. When are we going to learn? So the real important part during this downtime for Tua for a month, the really important thing for Mike McDaniel 2+ years in is, when are you going to learn? When are you going to become a better coach on game day? This past week, I give you some credit because you did things that were uncharacteristic. You all of a sudden decided to use the tight end. You all of a sudden decided to stick with the running game. You all of a sudden decided to use the running game as a message in that drive. When you do 7 straight runs, that's the kind of shit that just gets me excited. But in 2 weeks, are you going to abandon it again like you've done over and over and over again? So this time off is a good time to reflect. It's a good time to figure out, why am I in this position? Why am I not making progress? Why am I not, a better coach? Well, that's because you don't know what down it is. Kind of helps to know what down it is. You know what I'm saying? It kind of helps to know who's on the field, because your players are calling themselves off the field and you're like calling the play. And when you look up, Tyreek's next to you. It's third down, bro. You can't call yourself, well, that's your fault. It's time to learn, man. It's time to grow up. If Chop Robinson is 2.5 years in and he hasn't gotten better, well, it's 2.5 years, Mike McDaniel. You haven't gotten better. It's 2.5 years. No, it's 6.5 years for you, Tua. College and the NFL, and you still are doing the same stupid shit, like holding onto the football or taking on tacklers and injuring yourself. When are you going to stop? You did it for 1 year. Did it kill you that much that for 1 year you stayed away from injuries? You stayed away from the trainer's room? Is that like a place you want to make a home? When are you going to learn? And the other thing, by the way, that as much as I love Tua, I'll be objective, and I said it last year, he threw too many interceptions because he was forcing the issue. So what's he done this year? Forced the issue. And what's happened? Interceptions. Even a pick six. Stupid plays. Plays that he doesn't have to make. He doesn't have to force. Even if you're having a bad day, doesn't help to force it. Know your limitations. It's the other thing that Tua hasn't learned. Learn who you are. You're not a runner. You're not a tackler. You're not a guy that takes on tacklers. You don't try to do those things. You'll fail every time. Don't try to throw completely off balance to the sidelines because you'll fail every time. Know who you are. So what I would say to Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel, for Christ's sake, guys, let's go. It's time to learn from your mistakes. Because if you're still going to coach and you're still going to play quarterback, well, then why don't we do it at the highest level possible by eliminating the mistakes? Why don't we learn from these mistakes and become better? That's my message in this bye week, in this bye month for Tua Tagovailoa and for Mike McDaniel. I got a baseball note for you. How weird is that? Let me save that page. I think I'm gonna buy those tickets for Night Ranger right away. Jazz Chisholm. You remember Jazz with the Miami Marlins? Yeah. Love Jazz. He's fun to watch. So the Kansas City Royals ended up tying the series with the Yankees 1-1 and their 4-2 win. And Jazz has been batting .250. He's got a home run, 1 RBI, with a home run, obviously. He's got 2 hits in 8 at-bats, .250. And he's got a stolen base. So he's not like tearing up the world, okay? And remember, Jazz is a guy that is now joined the Yankees coming from Miami. So he downplayed Kansas City and their effort. And the visitors scored 4 runs in the 4th inning to take the lead, and they never looked back. After the game, Chisholm was asked if the series felt different after Kansas City tied things up at 1-1. The Yankees' midseason acquisition affirmed that his team was still going to win, and the Royals just got lucky. Like a little Dawkins, just got lucky. He goes on to say, it feels the same that we're going to win it. I don't feel like anybody feels any different. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. We had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky. You know, the only thing that I find funny about that comment is that Jazz Chisholm sounds like he's been a Yankee his whole life, and he's won a couple of titles, and he's been through this mess a bunch of times, and that, you know, hey, you know, this is who we are. We've done it before, this, that. You just got there, bro. As much as I like Jazz Chisholm, and I think he can be a heck of a player, you still haven't done it in those moments. You're not that guy yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that kind of experience where you're constantly in the playoffs and you've been in tight situations and you've been on a team that constantly gets through in tough playoff moments and moves on to bigger and better things. None of that is in the history of Jazz Chisholm as a major leaguer. This is his first year with an actual real franchise. He's been on a Mickey Mouse franchise since he got drafted. But I love how he makes it sound like, hey, this is second nature to us, who we are. Well, we'll overcome this with no problem. Oh, God. Been there and done it, Jazz Chisholm. Let's see. Shomar. Tua is a franchise guy. He's coming back with a vengeance. If Tua isn't good enough, neither is Josh Allen. Allen 930, terrible. Stephen Harris, that's a good self-evaluation question for the Dolphins. When are you going to learn? Yeah, that is true. Dolphins need to hire someone upstairs in the booth to quickly look at the video and approve challenges like other teams. Yeah, whoever they have there deserves to be fired, no doubt. And he has somebody also helping him manage the game, and that's not working out either. And I think that person also has an assistant, so it's like 2 people. Lamonzo,
says, I like McD. I'm tired of hire coach, fire coach crap. He's a good coach no matter what Big O is feeding y'all. Okay. Here, has some more. All Dolphins dream team. Marino throwing to Hill and handing the ball off to Ricky. No, the Drew. If you want Hill over Clayton, I'm sorry, bro. Let me again, you know, I always fuck with you guys with all kinds of different things, right? Okay. All right. Let me just mess with you guys again. Right? Like I told you, don't ever compare Tyreek and Waddle to Clayton and Duper. It's not even in the same stratosphere. Okay? Clayton and Duper are so superior to those guys. Tougher, better hands, just better, period. Okay? Remember I told you, you want one key moment in the end zone, the game is on the line, Oronde Gadsden or Tyreek Hill. Okay? I told you, I'm taking Oronde Gadsden. The game on the line, I need one catch, one big play. I need hands. I'm getting Oronde Gadsden over Tyreek Hill in the end zone with the game on the line. Right? Okay. Let me mess with you a little bit more there, Brett. Okay? Give me Marino throwing to Irving Fryer over Tyreek Hill. Okay? Give me Irving Fryer. With the 2 years I saw of Irving Fryer here, I'll take that over Tyreek Hill any day of the week. And everything about Mark Clayton, I'll take over Tyreek Hill. Every single time. So if you want my dream, I'm still throwing to Warfield. I'm still throwing to Clayton. And I'm throwing to Irving Fryer. And if it's at the end of a game and I need one catch in the end zone, in traffic, by himself, whatever, Oronde over Tyreek. Okay? All right. Let's see. Big O. Actually, I like Marino throwing to Warfield. Exactly. Warfield, Clayton, Irving Fryer over Tyreek Hill. It's not even close, dude. It's not even close. He's not in their category. As a Dolphin, I'm sorry. I sorry. Can't even put it. Yeah, damn right Fryer was good. Fryer was awesome, dude. And reliable as a mofo. Super reliable. I can't call Tyreek Hill reliable. I don't have that. Oronde Gadsden, reliable as a mofo. Oh, my God, reliable. Oh, my God, reliable and a half. Money. I wasn't doing the safety dance. Yeah, Hill is top notch, but just so you'll know, the Drew, he's not the top of the list in the Miami Dolphin, history. The three guys I mentioned, Warfield, Clayton, and Fryer, I'll take over Tyreek Hill. I don't care about the stats. Stats don't mean shit to me. The 1,700, I don't measure him by that. Not even close. So, yeah. Lenny Pena says, I'd take Fryer over Tyreek as well. That man was a beast. Jimmy Johnson was the idiot. Yeah, I don't even want to. Yeah, that's another one. I don't even want to talk about Jimmy Johnson. Freaking moron. Fryer was more a pat than a fit. Yeah, no, I get that. But I'm just telling you, in the echelon of money players at wide receiver for the Dolphins, Irving Fryer over Tyreek Hill every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Of course he's a pat. Played there forever. I get it. But I watched him here for a couple of years. Irving Fryer was awesome, dude. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I guess Lamonzo Scott thinks McDaniel's a good coach. He probably also thinks Adam Gase was elite. Yeah, imagine Marino handing off to Zonka and having a complete offensive line. Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, I love the left side, but give him the right side from Greasy, and then we're complete. You know what I'm saying? Zonka and Ricky. Woo! Wow, man. And it doesn't matter. Give me Warfield, give me Clayton, give me Duper, give me Irving Fryer. I don't give a shit. Give me any of those guys, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine. Give me one of those guys and a Rondé Gadsden, and I'm good. Fryer Gadsden, Clayton Gadsden, Duper Gadsden, Warfield Gadsden, and I'm good. I'm kicking your ass all the time. You cannot beat me. I'm going to beat you with a superstar, or I'm going to beat you with the baddest mofo in the air that we've ever seen in Rondé Gadsden. Because Rondé Gadsden is maybe the best aerial receiver we've ever had in Warfield too. Warfield and Rondé. Warfield was a god in the air. So I shouldn't say that. Clayton was too, by the way. Clayton had incredible body control. Wow, some of the best I've ever seen. But man, Gadsden was just unstoppable. Unstoppable. Man, he was fun to watch. Fun to watch. I'm approaching 3 hours. Wow. It's a lot of talking. Because we don't take long commercial breaks. So, by the way, R&M Contractor is a proud sponsor of the Crypto Bro Show. Ray and Mike do excellent work. By the way, we've got a storm coming. So if you have storm damage or you're looking to do a complete remodel of your home, your condo, kitchen upgrades, appliances, interior, exterior paint, stucco repairs, maintenance, floor restorations, bathroom upgrades, drywall, level 5 finish, call Ray or Mike. They know how to get it done at R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649. Ray and Mike do excellent work. And listen, if you're looking to improve that home, improve the value, modernize it, these guys know all the tricks of the trade, man. So call R&M Contractors. They'll get it done. Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties. Call Ray or Mike right now. 305-345-3649. Remember, you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation or any other kind of donation on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. As always, appreciate it. Let's see. Big O, I agree. Receivers over Hill so far in Dolphin history. Warfield, the Marks brothers, Irving Fryer, and then maybe again. And again, maybe Hill. Right. Yeah, Hill's after those guys for sure. Yeah. And definitely ahead of Rondé. But game on the line, I'm throwing into the end zone. I'm putting Rondé over Tyreek because who's more reliable? You know? So. And that's crazy because Rondé doesn't have a half the talent, a quarter of the talent that Tyreek has. Tyreek's talent is special, but his concentration is not even close to Rondé's. It's not even in the same place. Clayton in the Packers uniform was depressing. Yeah, it kind of sucked. Warfield helped the run game so much by preventing teams from loading the box. DBs and safeties were terrified of him. Yeah, he was a super athlete. God. So good. So good. Let's see. Another point to comparing wideouts is that those guys did it before they changed the rules where you can't even breathe on receivers at the line. Yeah, especially Warfield. Warfield played when they can molest you. Clayton and Duper, there was still some physicality left. Obviously, now it's just, soft city. You're right. No, Drew. Hill is not right there with those guys. He's not. You're probably too young. That's probably what it is. But those of us that saw Warfield and the Marx brothers and Irving Fryer, we'd take them over Tyreek Hill every day of the week. And twice on Sundays. Every day. All those guys had better hands than Tyreek. They were all more reliable. They just were, dude. So I get it. You're probably young and you didn't see them, but those of us that watched it and watched them in big moments and watched them come through constantly, anybody would take those guys over Tyreek Hill every single time. He's behind those guys. He's not their level. He's the level under them. So is Waddle. They dropped too many balls to be in their company. Too many. Drew, I can tell you're young. These two guys could not play with Marino, like I said yesterday. Marino would tear Tyreek a new asshole every month, and Waddle too. Oh yeah. They would drop way too many passes. Marino would be infuriated with those guys. Yeah. Shang 2, you might want to tune in earlier. We already talked about Salah. Let's see. Big O, to enjoy football season, going to see Dolphins Marino reruns. Yeah. Calling me young is a compliment. Well, then, I don't know. If you saw Clayton and Duper and Irving Fryer, I don't know how you put Hill in the same category. I have no idea, dude. I can't help you because it's absolutely inaccurate. It's not even close. If you're just going by stats, yeah, sure. You want to put him in because of the 2 years of stats? That's great. But when I'm talking about the player and the moment and all that kind of stuff, hell no, dude. Irving Fryer played big with no quarterbacks in New England. Tyreek Hill has no quarterbacks, and he's not a factor. It's kind of crazy. Irving Fryer was a special wide receiver, dude. When you could get 1,000 yards and Mark Wilson is your quarterback, it's And for those of you that don't know who Mark Wilson is, you may want to look it up. And I believe it's Mark with a C. Okay? There was some bad quarterbacks in New England. Anyway, and Irving Fryer played with a lot of those. All right, we're out of here. We thank Ira Winderman, David Furones, Manny Navarro. If you missed any of those interviews, you can rewind. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, that masters this entire platform. You saw the Cash App and Venmo billboards there. You can always make a donation to support the show, and you can also make a crypto or Ethereum donation on Cash App or Venmo, and always appreciated. Visit our amazing sponsors. We are not going to be at Toyota of Hollywood tomorrow. We were supposed to be at the Big Cheese today. Both are pushed to next week. So next Tuesday, the Big Cheese. Next Wednesday, we will be at Toyota of Hollywood. Thursday, we definitely will be at Hialeah Park. Friday, we'll be at Acura of Pembroke Pines. I appreciate all of you out there. If you missed the Crypto Bro Show, you can rewind and check it out. If you missed any of the interviews, you can rewind and check it out. And any of the news and stuff that we talked about, it's all there. A full 3 hours with barely any commercials. Something you will not get pretty much anywhere else when it comes to local sports. Anyway, we love you all out there. Those of you that send in a super chat, thank you. If you send in a Cash App or Venmo, thank you very much, because we get 100% there. And here on the super chats, damn, YouTube takes 30%. We appreciate it. But let's stop giving YouTube that money, man. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Go Bitcoin.
is the Big